JustinFREAKIN, the formidable voice in the culture.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
帅！
Come on, man.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with JustinFREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a freaking Sunday. Welcome, Flash. RB, clinically, Byronic, Warlord. Yeah, Warlord, why are you out here killing firefighters? I do not and there's like the shit you're saying in my Discord. I had to tell the FBI agent that watches us, like, no, he's not wanting to collect nuclear materials to do something to DC. God damn it. Byronic, I sent you a picture last night, but you might not have checked it because in case you haven't noticed, I have been yeeted from Facebook. So I've been talking to people on Discord, but you might not have checked Discord. We were at the Hard Rock Cafe for the comedy show last night, and I saw it was like Paramore's outfit. And I was like, ooh, I'll send this to Byronic. And I had a really good time. It's just like you're walking with Curiouser through there, and she's like, ooh, there's Elvis's jumpsuit. Ooh, there's this. Ooh, and there's like a million people. It's really fucking crowded. And I'm trying to pay attention to where I'm going. And she's like, ooh, there's this. But it was cool. You're fine. As you didn't know that I was yeeted from Facebook so that I couldn't communicate with you. That's... Because, I prefer Facebook Messenger, and I've spent a lot of time, making sure, everybody has their own distinct color. So if they message me, I know who messaged me from across the room and shit. But unfortunately, thanks to our friend who was the transphobe in chat the other day, I no longer have a Facebook. Suncats, welcome in. It's the last day of the Pride graphics, except I might keep it going. Who fucking cares? Amos something or other. I kept wanting to call him Ian because he was really good. Both Curiouser and I wanted to look him up, but he had some problematic views. And Curiouser was like, well, I kind of didn't like his stance on blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who am I to talk about somebody being problematic, right? And she's like, you're right. Yes, it affected my Instagram. It affected my threads. I've been taken off of everything Meta. That's actually how I found out, was I went to watch your Instagram live and I didn't have an Instagram and I couldn't watch it. So my apologies. Because I went to go and like it, share it out, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's different for a content creator, Flash. Because I was like, I really need to stop fucking with people so they don't ban me from Facebook because I really need the fucker. Princess Kimberly, good evening. I've got a significant following on Facebook. Not insignificant. I don't want to say significant. Just shy of 1,000 people follow me on Facebook. I've done decently well. I don't use Instagram personally, so I'll check it every few weeks and I'll have 10 new followers that have all come from the reels that I share out that are clips of the show. So, I should try to keep my Facebook. Last day of Pride, when the draft begins, but gay and trans are still banned in the military. Well, I'm gay. Light one up, tip one back. So yeah, if you're somebody who communicates with me on Facebook and I message you, yeah, fair enough, DJ Dub. You might want to get up with me on Discord. I'll start checking Discord more. Had a good time though. She okay, we had a whole conversation and we're like, where do you want to eat? There's a nice steakhouse. Then there's the Hard Rock Cafe. And then there were other things, and come to find out they're a ghost kitchen. And you go up to a kiosk and order them. So we're trying to figure out where to eat. And I'm like, God damn it, I want to go to the Hard Rock Cafe. I've been to the Hard Rock Cafe. It sucks ass. It's overpriced. It's fucking Applebee's style food. You only go to a Hard Rock Cafe for the fucking t-shirt. I want to go to the Hard Rock Cafe. So we go in, we can't even fucking find, like, there's like an Italian restaurant and a street tacos. That's like the ghost kitchen setup thing. We can't even fucking find where that shit is. So we go over, we get in line at the Hard Rock and like give our info. It's like a 30-minute wait. We're like balancing it out like, oh shit, we probably won't have time to go smoke if we, you know, eat at the Hard Rock. So we make another trip around. I'm like, you know, I bet it's in that little cubby over there. That's where all the other restaurants are. And sure enough, that's where they were. And it was like a whole other little bar area that had like, they had like a bluegrass band playing. Because this was very like country music where it had a Faith Hill quote on the front. And I'm like, the fuck you got a Faith Hill quote on the front of the Hard Rock Cafe? That's not Hard Rock. And she's like, yeah, it is. That's their thing. They're like all love and peace. And I'm like, that's not Hard Rock. Hard Rock is like having your cock out and worshiping Satan. That's Hard Rock. Hard Rock Cafe, my ass. No Bob Villain quote, though. You'll get your Bob Villain quote here shortly, Flash. Don't you worry. Like, oh, like you gotta spoil things. Like, people might have no fucking idea what you're talking about. And, like, they would have, like, been astonished by the video. You gotta go, like, spoil things. They're like, Flash. I know. It's a news show. You're getting on to me for talking about the news. I tried not to watch too, because like I fucking love live music, right? I tried not to watch too much of Glastonbury, but like as Curiouser and I were taking bong rips last night, like I kind of played the shit I thought she would like the best from Glastonbury. That's what we were watching, because like I'm gonna do best of Glastonbury with you guys tomorrow night for Live Music Monday, but you know, I'm a music nerd, so like I really wanted to watch, and I didn't think Alanis still had it. Apparently, Curiouser thought she did. Let me put my bracelet on over here. Oh, let me talk about what we got going on. We got two different things going on live, so we might have to like throw the format out a little bit. We're gonna be going back and forth. We've got I think the full reading of the Senate bill has happened. That was one of the procedural hurdles that Democrats have thrown at the GOP for the passage of the big beautiful bill in the Senate, was that they made them read the entire fucking bill. Now, I believe right now we are in debate before the vote-a-rama. And the vote-a-ramas where they like throw out amendments and have like a flash round on the votes. So we're going to check in live with the Senate, but we're also going to run down like, you know, the juicy shit that's happened over the last couple of days, because this has been going on virtually nonstop. But this is Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, I do believe.
And it transfers wealth.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That's Sheldon Whitehouse.
And grandchildren to present-day billionaires by adding $5 trillion to the debt limit to run up the debt of the country to fund the tax giveaways to these
Senator Whitehair. Krell, welcome in. DJ Dub, I tell you good evening.
Billionaires.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now. This is the debate over the big beautiful bill.
Take away health care from 16 million Americans.
Don't know that the vote-a-rama is happening tonight or tomorrow or whatever, but that catches you up. Apparently the House will be back to vote on this Tuesday or Wednesday.
Families have someone sit down once a month and go through the bills.
They wanted to get this passed before the 4th of July.
And
I don't
try
think
to
that's
figure out
happening.
what bills you can pay. You may not pay.
What is the 4th, Nick?
Insurance bill.
Friday?
You may pay the minimum. You may not pay your whole
Or is it
credit
Saturday?
card. You may just pay the minimum.
Friday.
Aware exactly how much money you have, because you need to make those.
Big bullshit bill indeed.
That's kitchen table world. Billionaire world is different. You have a family.
So once again, this is live on the Senate floor. This is the debate
You don't even know how much money you have.
before the final vote. They passed the procedural hurdle
You don't
last
care.
night. Holiday, welcome
You
in.
could ever spend in your life. You could pay taxes like regular people, but there's something about
So as I said, we got 2 things going on live right now, and the second one is that there is an active shooter manhunt situation going on in what they call the Nazi part of Idaho, because apparently it's just another day. Where's it at? Where's it at? Coeur d'Alene, Coeur d'Alene. I fucking forget how to say it. It's one of those in the most northern part of Idaho. Actively taking sniper fire. Kootenai County Sheriff confirms 2 dead. 1 or more gunmen still shooting in Coeur d'Alene ambush. So we're gonna take the
Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene.
Some breaking news out of Coeur d'Alene this afternoon. ABC News has just confirmed firefighters were ambushed by a gunman while responding to a brush fire. Emergency personnel and law enforcement swarming to the area. We'll show you a map here of where that is. And you can see the area of East Nettleton Gulch Road there and 15th Street in Coeur d'Alene. An emergency shelter has been issued in the Cantfeld Mount Trailhead and Nettleton Gulch Road area. We're taking you to the scene right now. We have a reporter on the ground. This is a live look happening in that area. And you can see there on your screen the massive response from police out there swarming to the area. Again, emergency responders are staged at Kootenai Health right now. At least 1 medical helicopter has responded to the area.
The Idaho Needle Dig
Law enforcement responding from
was not actually up in the Panhandle part, right? It's in the northern part of the
I-90. And again,
over on the east,
we're going to
right?
take a live bump to the hospital if we can pull that up here. At
Judging by the map that they showed earlier, I'm not exactly
and there it is.
sure.
You can see a police car at the scene there.
It's the northern part of Idaho, but I don't know that it's up in the Panhandle.
Medical personnel at the front doors there of the hospital. We're zooming in there. You can see some of that presence still there. This is a rapidly developing story. Details are still coming in at this point. We're going to bring in our reporter Hunter Bertram, who's at the scene there. Hunter, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jordan, I've been here for roughly an hour now. There's been dozens, honestly, dozens of law enforcement personnel, including fire, law, sheriff's office. You can see right now there's still many people out front. I'll just zoom in right here. They've basically just been staged and ready to take in patients as they are coming.
No, it's up in the Panhandle.
Just slowly, so you can see the plume of smoke.
I said east. It is as far west as you
We
can
just
get
took
in
that live
Idaho.
look over by the
So
Canfield,
fuck me.
Trailhead. You can see that plume of smoke has been growing from what I've been seeing in the last hour. Really unsure of what exactly how their firefighting efforts are going, but I have not yet seen any ambulance arrive to the scene. You can see across the street from me as well, many more EMS people are staged across. There's people from the Spokane AMR, also Kootenai.
Oh, totally a Nazi.
Fire. It's just a very, very intense scene here. Limited information coming on, but there is just many, many individuals staged here at the emergency.
The chances of this not being a Nazi.
In about 10 minutes from where that incident is.
0.5% maybe?
Hunter, thank you for that. We'll take you back out to the scene. And again, some light winds out there potentially fueling this fire. And we do want to say that there is a press conference that has been scheduled at the Cherry Hill Fire Station 3 at 4:30 here. We expect to learn more information, but again,
at 4:30 is that
response by police out there.
This is an older report, but as we understand it,
and we will have an update for you here around 4:30 and be back with the news at 5 o'clock here.
It's saying 4 o'clock there.
For live updates, breaking
That's probably
news,
2 hours ago.
10 minutes.
So it's probably like 6 o'clock there.
Check back in with
I don't know. I would say they're on Mountain Time. This is update as of 5 p.m. The Kootenai County Sheriff says he doesn't know how many gunmen are shooting at law enforcement on Canfield Mountain in Coeur d'Alene. Sheriff Bob Norris said in a news conference Sunday afternoon that officers are actively taking sniper fire. We do not know if there's 1, 2, 3, or 4. The sheriff confirmed 2 people are dead, most likely firefighters. He said there were more people on the mountain they haven't been able to reach, which could include people who live in the area or people who were hiking there this afternoon. It could be a whole Nazi compound flash. Sheriff Norris said the call about the brush fire came in around 1:22 Sunday afternoon. Now, we do not know this for a fact, but we're just surmising this based upon the area and the situation. Norris said the gunman or gunmen show no sign of wanting to surrender, that he's hoping law enforcement can get a clean shot to neutralize the shooter or shooters. He said no law enforcement officers have been shot. The sheriff said he expects to update the situation later Sunday evening, but wasn't sure what time. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino posted on social media that the FBI is headed to CDA to provide additional support for the firefighter ambush. FBI assets are headed to the scene in Coeur d'Alene to provide tactical and operational support. Kootenai County Emergency Management expanded the shelter in place to everything south of Hayden Lake Road and east of 15th Street in Coeur d'Alene. Shit. The original shelter in place was set for the area of Canfield Mountain Trailhead and Nettleton Gulch Road. ABC News has confirmed with the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office that firefighters responding to a brush fire were ambushed by a gunman. Multicare said Spokane hospitals are standing by to take patients if needed. That is where we are at currently. Unless things have changed like within the last 2 hours, that appears to be the update at 5 p.m. Idaho time, which could have been about an hour ago. My friend, not everywhere has hills. You can't be a hillbilly unless you have hills. Though I do think you're getting into kind of mountainous region up there in Idaho. We're going to go to another one of their local stations.
Breaking news.
And we are cutting into programming this afternoon for live breaking news of an active shooter situation targeting firefighters in North Idaho. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm John Webb. Here's what we know at this hour. It all started at 1:30 this afternoon after investigators say a fire was set on purpose. We know multiple firefighters were shot.
But that's new to us. That was set on purpose.
We did talk with the chief, Pat Riley, at Northern Lakes Fire District, who said it sounds like multiple gunshot wounds to the chest. Their injuries at this point are unknown. It's happening in East Nettleton Gulch Road area. This is just to the east of Coeur d'Alene High School and to the north of the Ponderosa golf course there in that area. We know a heavy law enforcement presence scene is there. We saw
Hold on, let's take it. I found this a live stream of one of the local stations that are now there on the scene.
But I have seen
it. This is live.
Frequently, where firefighters do get shot at in, civil unrest. Yes.
So do we know if it's 1 or 2 shooters?
88 degrees
one,
in
2, 3, or 4. Yeah, we don't know.
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Ironic.
Itself, firefighting efforts. Is it contained? Is it still spreading? What does that look like?
Well, it's gonna keep burning because we can't put a lot of resources on there right now. But Chief,
we won't put any resources out there until.
Oh, sorry about that, Flash.
We have
we've got deer that'll come right up to you around here. City deer. That's what couriers called them the other day. You got city deer because I live in the middle of the city.
But then it'll pick back up tomorrow.
Thank you.
And hopefully this is neutralized by then.
Thank you.
Sheriff Norris, how are you feeling about this overall from when you first got the call to just now from what you learned?
You know what? It's going to be the tough next couple hours. Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping that somebody has a clear shot and is able to neutralize, because they are not at this point in time showing any evidence of wanting to surrender. So as soon as somebody has a clear shot, I encourage them to take that shot and neutralize the threat.
Heard him say that. I don't know if he's just repeating himself or if this is a repeat of the news conference from earlier.
Resources that are being used at the moment?
Oh yeah, we have our Emergency Operations Bureau that is containing assets, and whenever a situation goes beyond the local resources, which this has, like I said, we have other counties that are here, we have federal authorities that are here, and we will neutralize this threat. So.
Sorry, I know we've touched on this with the suspects. We know there is at least one, but you said possibly others. Is it coming from multiple different locations that bullets are coming from that might indicate that
yes.
it is
Oh yeah.
one suspect?
Yep.
So it's coming from not just one.
Yeah, it's what the officers and deputies are reporting up on the mountain right now. So.
Have any officers been hit?
As of right now, we don't have any officers that have been hit. Okay.
Can you just confirm, list all the law enforcement authorities that are here on scene?
Well, I have not gotten a list yet, but however, if pretty much
it's about 30 miles from Spokane, Washington.
We have Marshal's office that is on scene, Bonner County Sheriff's here, Coeur d'Alene Police, of course, is here, Idaho State Police, but we have a multitude of resources right now. So, okay.
The smoke that we saw earlier is the fire that was set that continues to burn.
Mark Ellis is going to be our.
There is a heat advisory in effect in the area.
Relations here, and we'll determine what time we'll do another press.
This could be as high as 104 degrees tomorrow.
Or the next one will just be a press release. So I'm thinking it'll probably be a press conference. And it'll
fire is less than an acre
somewhere in the next 3 or 4 hours, unless something significant happens before then.
We'll see if they come back and do any kind of reporting here.
To a press conference that just wrapped up with Sheriff Bob Norris within the last 30 minutes. Again, if you're just joining us right now, 2 firefighters were killed in an ambush situation while responding to a brush fire near Canfield Mountain. We have our Regan Gallo there reporting live for us this afternoon. Regan, something.
Oh, these poor reporters and anchors.
During that press conference.
This is national coverage they weren't prepared for.
Were still actively being shot at.
You got people watching all over the country now.
From the scene, does it look like
probably like the 130th market in the goddamn country?
Hey, Tim. Yeah, well, as of right now, all I can see, and I'm going to let the camera show you, is many law enforcement on the scene, many at the bottom of Canfield Mountain. And we have not received any updates since that press conference about 30 minutes ago from Sheriff Norris about, who has been shot at, more than those 2 people that have been killed. It could be more. There's definitely more casualties, but we can't say for sure how many right now. But Tim,
for those of you who don't know the history, this is not the first time
that is here right
this
now.
has happened in this area.
Obviously, Kootenai County from Coeur d'Alene. We have some support over from Spokane coming over across the state line. We also have Bonner County, Kellogg.
This is exactly where, or not far from,
including also
what is referred to as Ruby Ridge.
Life Flight, which is those helicopters that come in too. So as you can see, there is just a ton of support right now, and until that threat is neutralized, what Sheriff Norris is saying, they're going to be on scene for many hours to come.
Regan, something the sheriff also said is that the fire is still actively burning.
It's one of the reasons why I know that the area is a Nazi hotbed. Because so many incidents like this have happened.
Suspects are neutralized. Are you seeing active flames and smoke right now? Is that
surprising to literally no one?
Tim, great question. As of right now, where I am at, where our crew is at, we cannot see any.
Flash, you surprised by this?
When I was driving from I-90, you could definitely see that smoke in the sky, basically coming from state line. I could see that all the way coming here. So exactly what he said. He was very short, plain and simple. You know, until the suspect or suspects are
I'm not high enough for this
located,
shit.
they're not able to go.
Let's get ready to say, DJ Dub, you're
mitigate that fire. And
from the adjacent area. Are you surprised by this?
That threat does decrease with wildfire spread, but at the beginning it was about half an acre being burned. So I'm sure since then it's even more so, but they cannot tame that fire until they can find those suspects.
And talk about people on the mountain, Regan. He did also say that there are still people on the mountain right now.
This is a town that we have talked about on the Troll Patrol multiple times. The last time, what, about 2 or 3 months ago?
Get off this mountain. Tell us
what exactly happened.
Come
a woman was taken out of a what was it, a Board of Education meeting?
Yeah, you know,
a city supervisors meeting, or maybe it was somebody with a congressperson.
Because this is a very large park.
Taken out by thugs.
However, yes, they said
that ended up being like some kind of private security that has now been charged.
To get those hikers off of the mountain. You know, this is the beginning of 4th of July holiday. This is, you know, a fun week supposed to be had. We're coming off of Hoop Fest in Spokane as people are heading home, both to Idaho and wherever they're coming from. And so people are just trying to enjoy and kick off, you know, this federal holiday. And for this to happen is just
the panhandle is for the Nazis from Eastern Washington
down the mountain
who think even red-ass rural Washington is too woke.
How many people are still on the
mountain?
Thank you, Flash. That's what he said very plainly, is people are still trying to get off the mountain and into safety and out of the way so local law enforcement can do what they need to do. So yeah, exactly what you're saying, Tim. It's very scary, especially, you know, first responders are so important to the week of 4th of July and every day throughout the year. And this is just chaos, and we're learning more still.
Regan, tell us more about the shelter in place. There are a few homes.
Once again, this is live currently. She is reporting live from the scene.
Coeur d'Alene near Canfield Mountain. Can you tell us more about the shelter in place? Has that expanded at all?
Yeah, from what I know, the shelter in place is still active, and I think that's going to be active until the hours through tonight. Until that threat is neutralized, people should stay away from the area. We're right off of I-90, so it's a very busy area.
She's wearing long sleeve fucking shirt.
Suspects are still
out,
and they're still.
It's 88 degrees.
Understanding, Sheriff Norris said that they believe those are modern day sporting rifles that were being used against our firefighters. So that is still in their hands and still a huge threat to the community.
Absolutely, and I do want to
read some sort of jacket or some shit.
South of Hayden Lake Road and east of 15th Street.
You get ready to go skiing.
Is under that shelter in place from the sheriff's office, as well as 15th Street to the Cherry Hill BMX track, also closed right now. People who live in the area are being urged to stay.
I figured like 88 degrees would melt somebody in Idaho.
This is obviously a big operation right now, while it is still very active. Tell us more about the different tactics that the sheriff said are being deployed right now and other agencies supporting to help neutralize the suspect, as he said.
Tim, great question. We haven't gotten too much information on that just yet, but they are trying to develop a plan to get onto the mountain and to find those suspects. But like,
I mean, it's possible it's windy and shit up there.
Law enforcement from all counties and all cities from the area in the region to come help out.
Just white, so it reflects light as opposed to absorbs it.
A lot of support here is being sent because we don't.
Maybe she knows what she's doing.
And like Sheriff Norris said, you know, this is going to be an active day investigation going into this week and into probably the holiday as well. So, yeah, he just said they're developing a plan.
I think this is tits out weather.
But I'm not too sure yet exactly. There should be another press conference in the next couple of hours, if not a press release. So we're still going to learn more.
And if our viewers are just joining us now, tell us more about a timeline of when this all started. This happened earlier this afternoon, around 1 o'clock or so. And when did they realize that this was more than a brush fire?
Great question, Tim. Yeah, so
at 1 o'clock would be about 4 o'clock Eastern time.
Around 1:21 p.m. And then at 2 p.m., that's when they received reports that firefighters were receiving shots. And later, 2 of those firefighters were dead, and there still might be more that could be injured or more casualties. That's all we know for right now. And then, yeah, like I said, they've been working to understand the scene since around 1:30 this afternoon.
Yeah, most of the time firefighters are pretty based.
Here, so this is going to go well into the evening as the
firefighters got hit.
It's a very hot day. It's supposed to be a hot week. So just think of those first responders, not only that were first acting for that fire, but also everyone that's here. I mean, they're just trying to get through this heat of the day while trying to neutralize this threat. So it's just a lot of
what a gorgeous area.
A lot of people involved, a lot of hands trying to do the right thing to protect everyone involved, and especially the Coeur d'Alene and inland Northwest community. So it happened at 1:20 with that fire, and then 2 o'clock, that's when they received reports of firefighters being shot. And then, like I said, since then, they're still trying to confirm who was on the mountain and trying to get them out of the area.
And we keep saying suspect or suspects. Did the sheriff say why that he believes there could be more than one suspect at large right now?
Yeah, I mean, multiple shots were fired at those firefighters, which then indicates to them, what they say is that there might be more than one suspect.
Apparently from different locations.
The type of shots being shot at, that active sniper fire, is what they're saying. And so that's why they might believe that there's multiple people on that mountain that are a threat.
And Regan, we know that 2 firefighters were killed in this situation. Do we know if anyone else was hurt? Have you seen any ambulances take anyone away? Tell us more about that.
There's definitely ambulances here responding as fast as they can. We cannot confirm right now how many people may be down more than those 2 firefighters, but the casualties are unknown at this point. They suspect there are many, but...
Flash, that's like the $1 million question. Because they're scared, probably.
All right, Regan, and also I'm going to keep you on standby here, but it looks like we also are getting word from the FBI. The FBI posted within the last hour, Director John Bongino, Dan Bongino posted.
Don Bongino!
FBI assets are headed to the scene in Coeur d'Alene to
He wrote that song, Living on a Prayer.
Support. It's an active scene. That was just posted within the last hour or so.
Don Bongino.
This afternoon. We are also hearing from others, including Governor Brad Little. You could see here Governor Little writing, multiple heroic firefighters were attacked today while responding to a fire in North Idaho. This is a heinous direct assault on our brave firefighters. I ask all Idahoans to pray.
You don't know what it is.
As we wait to learn more. Teresa and I are heartbroken. As this situation is still developing, please stay clear from the area to allow law enforcement and firefighters to do their jobs. That coming from Governor Brad Little also within the last hour. If you are just joining us, what we know right now, 2 firefighters were killed in an ambush situation while responding to a wildfire near Canfield Mountain. This is east of Coeur d'Alene. Within the last hour, the sheriff, Bob Norris, held a press conference giving us more details about how things kind of developed.
So that catches you up. That's what we know at this time. That is actually live. Ongoing manhunt.
Hole in my estimate.
This is
so what they told me is
back
that,
to the Senate floor.
It's rough, but North Carolina's used the system.
This is Tom Tillis, who we're getting ready to talk about.
So what do I tell 663,000 people?
Voted against the bill.
2 years or 3 years. When President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore, guys. When the White House,
they're shutting him down,
advising the president, are not telling him that the effect of this bill is to break a promise. And you know, the last time I saw a promise,
it's North Carolina, Flash, actually.
With respect to my friends on the other side,
that is a bolo.
It's when somebody said, if you like your health care, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. We found out that wasn't true. That made me the second Republican Speaker of the House since the Civil War, ladies and gentlemen, because we betrayed the promise to the American people. 2 years later, 3 years later, it actually made me a U.S. Senator, because in 2010, it had just been proposed. And just anticipation of what was going to happen was enough to have a sea change election that swept Republicans into the majority for the second time in 100 years.
Oh, so what he's saying is he sees the writing on the wall.
Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care and betraying a promise. It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office or in the cabinet room when I was there with finance, where he said we can go after waste, fraud, and abuse on any programs. Now, those amateurs that are advising him, not Dr. Oz, I'm talking about White House healthcare experts,
He's kicking authority in the balls.
refuse to tell him that those instructions that were to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse all of a sudden eliminates a government program that's called the provider tax.
That's a big part of it, Flash.
A legal construct that admittedly has been abused and should be eliminated into waste, fraud, and abuse. Money laundering. Read the code. Look at how long it's been there. I was Speaker of the House. I refused to do it. When I left North Carolina, I said, we're not going to do a provider tax. I left it at 2.5%. Now it's 6%. Mistake on the part of the leadership. And frankly, I know my friends are probably going to think I'm a little bit crazy here, but I actually passed a law that made it illegal to expand Medicaid.
I totally think you're crazy.
Why did I do that?
Social Stomp, welcome in.
Someday
we are live on the Senate floor. We've also got a
found a way
active shooter manhunt situation going on in Nazi bumfuck Idaho.
10 match and watching it disappear and taking away.
And I've got prepared news, so it's stupid is what it is, Socialist
Over the
Hunt.
course of the evening, I may look for an opportunity to speak again. But I'm telling the president that
Samson.
you have been misinformed. You support
Not Texas. This is the senator from North Carolina.
people who are eligible.
Everyone assumes Texas because of the bolo tie.
I love the work requirement. I love the other reforms in this bill.
I love fucking over poor people.
The leadership of the House for putting it in there. In fact, I like the work of the House so much that I wouldn't be having to do this speech if we simply started with the House mark. I've talked with my colleagues in North Carolina. I know that
A bolo tie is acceptable if your name is Soup for My Bread
we do
Line.
not break the promise of Donald J. Trump that
Because that is a man that can rock a fucking bolo tie.
But what we're doing, because we've got a view on an artificial deadline on July 4th that means nothing but another date and time, we could take the time to get this right if we lay down the House mark of the Medicaid bill and fix it. And
you could choke somebody easily with a bolo tie.
in front of her, so I'm only going to take another minute or two.
Once again, we're live on the Senate floor. This is the debate. They have passed the procedural hurdle.
To do the work to understand how these
Democrats made them read the bill.
How hard is that?
In its entirety. That's what they've been doing for the past
How hard is it? How hard is it to sit down
15 hours.
in the Medicaid office? Ask
We're now in the debate section
the Hospital Association
before we get to what is called the votorama.
there's no negative impact.
So that should catch everybody up. Live on the Senate floor.
Actually understanding what this bill does. Mr. President, I know what it does because I spent a career implementing.
This is Senator Tom Tillis. He's one of 2 Republicans that voted against the bill during last night's procedural
And
vote.
since I've been here, I've focused on bills and watched their implementation from the cradle until they're fully implemented.
It still has to go back to the House and have to be passed by both the House and the Senate again.
North Carolina to withhold my affirmative vote until it's demonstrated to me that we've done our homework. We're going to make sure that we fulfill the promise, and then I can feel good about a bill that I'm willing to vote for. But until that time, I will be withholding my vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
That is Senator Tom Tillis, who's making waves with his opposition to the bill. Also announcing will not be running for re-election. Amazingly enough. I think by the speech he just gave, I think you all can tell that he sees the writing on the wall and he thinks it's going to be a bloodbath for Republicans. So he is leaving.
Republican Senator Thom Tillis announcing that he will not be seeking re-election next year in the battleground state of North Carolina. This just hours after President Trump posted on his social media platform berating the three-term senator who had defied Republican leadership by voting against the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill. Tillis has long expressed concerns about the impact of Medicaid cuts in the bill on North Carolina, announcing on Saturday that he would not support the legislation unless changes.
North Carolina has a very poor population, a very elderly population. I think several insurance companies are actually headquartered in North Carolina. So that should give you some idea about his interests.
Were made. Joining me now with more, ABC News Capitol Hill correspondent Jay O'Brien. Jay, it's a shame there's never drama in your neck of the woods. What more do we know about Republican Senator Thom Tillis' retirement announcement?
Apparently, Lisa Murkowski negotiated cuts for Alaska out of the bill. So, Flash, you may be exactly right that might end up, they just target blue states. It's insanity.
Yeah, this was...
Curiouser, good evening. Hey, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary people in the chat, Curiouser is here. I would like everybody to give her a big round of applause. Welcome in, Curiouser. Hey, Curiouser 78. Woo, woo. Ooh, 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 ooh. No, she just I'm an asshole. She told me yesterday that she felt let down that I did not acknowledge her when she came in. I think I was on a rant the other night and she left, and I think I did acknowledge her later, and then she came in during the panel and I didn't acknowledge anybody during the panel. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew Curiouser was here. We all love her. She brightens up the chat everywhere she goes. You can turn the world on with your smile. Dun, 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 dun. She can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. So since Curiouser is here, we should all light one up, tip one back. Light one up for Curiouser and Curiouser.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
Anyway, Thom Tillis, who we just saw on the Senate floor, is not going to be running for re-election next year. He saw the writing on the wall. I'm going to tell you a reason why. This is probably going to be a Democratic pickup.
Will not be seeking re-election next year in the battleground state of North Carolina. This just hours after President Trump posted on his social media platform.
He doesn't look good.
Three-term senator who had defied Republican leadership by voting against the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill. Tillis has long expressed concerns about the impact of Medicaid cuts in the bill on North Carolina, announcing that he would not support the legislation unless changes were made. Joining me now with more, ABC News Capitol Hill.
Mark Robinson was the black Nazi that ran for governor in North Carolina. He might be who's running against the other one in the primary. You're gonna see why it's probably gonna be a pickup for Democrats, because it probably is gonna be Mark Robinson, or it's gonna be this other candidate who is eyeballing it.
Correspondent Jay O'Brien. Jay, it's a shame there's never drama in your neck of the woods. What more do we know about Republican Senator Thom Tillis's retirement announcement?
Yeah, this was stunning, Phil, because just last night, Thom Tillis was one of what at one point was 3 Republican holdouts, which eventually became 2 because one of those holdouts flipped his vote from no to yes. That was Ron Johnson. And then the 2 no votes on this key procedural vote on proceeding with the president's domestic agenda, the centerpiece of his legislative agenda, were Thom Tillis and Rand Paul. Rand Paul was lightly criticized by President Trump, and then Thom Tillis, President Trump, unloaded on him in this lengthy post on Truth Social. He said he was making a quote-unquote big mistake for America, and then Trump signaled in a subsequent post that he would support primary challengers against Tillis, who's up for re-election next year in November. And then today, Thom Tillis comes out and says that he's not going to run for re-election next year. He is not going to seek a 3rd term in the Senate, and presumably he's going to continue his opposition against this bill. Obviously, that is a rebuke of President Trump, who really tried to turn the screws up and turn the pressure up onto Tillis to get him to potentially back this legislation. But also, Phil, it hardens the legislative math here because John Thur, the top Republican in the Senate, can only afford to lose 3 votes. He's likely not going to get Rand Paul to flip because Rand Paul has a series of issues with this legislative package, including the fact that it raises the debt ceiling. It doesn't look like they have much leverage now for Thom Tillis, who can't really be swayed by political pressure because he's not going to run for re-election. They can afford to lose 1 more, but a 4th, Phil, would tank this bill. We're on track for a final vote sometime early tomorrow morning. There's going to be this marathon vote series overnight.
You're talking about Monday morning.
More and more challenging for John Thune and President Trump.
Now here is who I was alluding to, because when Trump says he is going to support a primary challenger, he means literally support a primary challenger, as in someone named Trump. Laura Trump. President Donald Trump's daughter-in-law is seriously considering a Senate run in her native North Carolina. A source told Notice, another source close to the Trump family told NBC News that there's a high chance that she will run. Word of the younger Trump's ambitions came just hours after Thom Tillis, one of the state's 2 Republican senators, announced he would not seek re-election next year, opening the door for a Senate newcomer. Tillis, 64, publicly clashed with the president this weekend in opposition to his so-called Big Beautiful Bill and its proposed cuts to Medicaid. Now, North Carolina has an incredibly popular former governor who is more than likely going to run as the Democrat in that Senate seat. Someone by the name of Laura Trump or even Mark Robinson would probably sink Republicans' chances of winning that seat. What's his name? White-haired dude, campaigned for Harris. His lieutenant governor won by, not his lieutenant governor, the AG, because his lieutenant governor, it's elected separately. His lieutenant governor was the black Nazi guy. It's weird. But the AG, who was the governor's handpicked dude, like trounced Mark Robinson in the race for governor and highly overperformed. Go! No! Stop putting your... God damn it! And then he lays down over here looking all cute. Sorry, Bubby, just stop putting your ass in my fucking rolling tray. Lenny, welcome in. That's all. I don't ask much of you. You're allowed to do pretty much whatever the fuck you want. Can you just keep your ass out of my rolling tray? It is all I ask. All I ask, Cat. We're gonna jump around here because, like, I had a show laid out, but since they mentioned Rand Paul's opposition, he's the other Republican. It very well could have grinded up weed on it, though, and you know this.
Kentucky.
In deciding whether to vote
for the big, not so beautiful bill.
Also,
specific question. Will the deficit be more or less next year?
Also, another senator from a state with a elderly population, poor population, and
has fancy formulas and hundreds of wonky accountants.
Health insurance companies located in a state.
Over 10 years. But you often can't trust these projections. In an excellent piece written by the Foundation for Economics and Education entitled "The CBO's Projections Are Worse Than Useless," Eric Schuler writes, long-term analysis and language is commonplace in U.S. national politics.
Who the fuck is Eric Schuler and why is he more credible than the CBO? Fuck all the way off, Rand.
But it achieves no useful outcome. It confuses far more than it clarifies.
I'm going to look this dude up. He's going to be some fucking from a think tank. He's going to be 25 years old.
The average voter's understanding of policy effects. And it gives politicians a means to claim they are being fiscally responsible without actually exercising any prudence whatsoever. Sometimes the predictions are off because a new Congress is elected and changes the law. Eric Schuler writes that for any projection of a 10-year budget to be accurate, the Congressional Budget Office has to assume that the law won't change for 10 years, even as most of the politicians that make the laws risk being...
No idea who this guy is.
All of them advocate for changes of one stripe or another. Schuler states that few in Washington will admit Congress has a knack for starting any proposed cuts in the later years while letting spending run
wild. The men's soccer coach at MSU Denver.
These predictions are off by $1 trillion or so because the economy grew more slowly.
There's a research methodologist and quantitative and computational methods at the American University.
The Congressional Budget Office.
If this is him,
deficit last year by $1 trillion.
If this really is him, if this is the Eric Schuler that Rand Paul is citing, he really is like 25. Or he's just using an old picture. Because it does say senior quantitative computational research methodologist. But in psychology, at American University, this is the only Eric Schuler I can find of any note. Rand, who the fuck are you citing?
$1 billion. So in deciding whether to vote for any big...
Well, Lord, welcome in.
It helps to ask the right question. To me, the most pertinent question is how will the bill affect the deficit in the next year? Currently, our deficit is estimated to be a little under $2 trillion.
Anarcho, hold on.
What will happen to the debt in
what is spelled with a Y? Eric? Or Schuler with a Y? There's an Eric Shulith. This looks like somebody that Rand Paul would cite, but I don't think that's him. Eric Schuler. Okay, this could work. There's a Y. I don't think that's the dude. I have no idea who Rand Paul is citing here. Here's the thing, like, we try, right? We try to understand what he's saying, who he's citing and shit. We looked it up. We did our research. Can anybody out there tell me what Eric Schuler he is fucking citing? I cannot find him. He may have just made this up. Or Eric Schuler might be somebody that works in his fucking office. Not saying that I don't agree. Rand is voting against the bill. Not saying I don't agree with him. But who the fuck is Eric Schuler?
2026 if this bill passes. Well, using the math most favorable to the supporters of the bill, referred to as the policy baseline, the deficit in 2026 will still be $270 billion more than this year. So even using the math even using the formulas that the supporters of the bill like, the deficit will grow by $270 billion next year. That's just not good if you profess to be fiscally conservative. Why will the deficit grow next year? Well, even if you argue that the 2017 tax cuts don't need to be counted in the calculation at all,
His hair is dumb.
add up to 200.
Yeah, I liked Ron better than I like Rand, but ultimately Ron was shit too.
In addition, the big not so beautiful bill adds new spending of over $500 billion, military, border, agricultural subsidies, etc. That spending is front loaded and will be spent in the first 4 years of the 10-year window. Legislated spending is one of the few items in the bill that is exact. It isn't estimated. If they say they'll spend $500 billion, they're going to spend $500 billion, all in the first few years. So in order not to add to the deficit, the BBB, the big not so beautiful bill, has to have corresponding spending cuts to counter all the new spending. Unfortunately, the spending cuts are backloaded to the
or even raise taxes
10-year window when several tax cuts expire and the spending increases are finished. In addition, elections occur every 2 years and could easily wipe out any perceived savings that might occur in the later years. The only real certainty in this budget drama are the budget years coming in the immediate future. It's the next year or two are the only things that are actually of any certainty. So if we analyze this bill from that perspective, we discover that the bill increases the debt by $500 billion in the first 5 years. This is not the CBO projection that Republicans have not liked. This is the projection they are using, says the debt will add $500 billion in the first 5 years.
RB, look at you.
Now, they
Hell
say
yeah.
somehow, miraculously, in the last 5 years, it gets to a $500 billion in savings. So it's $1 trillion shift from year 5 to year 10. The CBO scores it differently, not as encouraging, and says it adds over $3 trillion in debt. So which is it? Does this bill save $500 billion over 10, or does it add $3 trillion over 10? The truth is that anybody, that even a person...
He's just some dude.
It's anybody's guess.
God damn it, I can't look at his Facebook. That's the only link he's got. Like, he's just...
Not so beautiful bill by looking at what happens to the debt next year. Supporters of the bill admit it adds $270 billion to the debt next year. That's the only thing we know for certain. We don't know what happens in year 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, but we know next year this bill will grow the deficit by $270 billion. In addition, the bill increased...
Rand Paul just pulled some fucking dude.
What does that mean? That is an admission that they know they aren't controlling the deficit. They know that the ensuing years will add trillions more. So we're adding $2 trillion this year.
He's just president of this trade association.
The authors of the bill anticipating adding more than $2 trillion next year. That doesn't sound at all conservative to me, and that's why I'm a no.
He's a lobbyist. But, like, he doesn't have, like, any specialized expertise. I think he has a bachelor's degree. I'm trying, because, like, it's hard to find any information on this dude. He's worked in this space for a decade now. So, like, he's a lobbyist on behalf of, like, legal, like a consortium of lawyers that apparently do kind of like personal injury and shit like that. Like, if you got injured at a Walmart or something, this is who you'd call. Which, you know, I'm all about it. I'm all about suing big companies. I'm into that. Military background in military and police intelligence operations. self-described political junkie. Like, this is this dude's resume. Served 22 years in the Army National Guard. A top expert and up-to-date on legislation affecting consumer legal funding. Shelley, good evening. Viz, good evening. Welcome in. It doesn't appear that that's the same. No, RB, though, look, that has to be the dude. Because who else could he be talking about? I couldn't find anybody. There's a 2015 podcast interview with an Eric Schuler on the Scott Horton show where he discussed Rand Paul's foreign policy positions. That guest was a blogger and libertarian writer. Okay, that could be him. So also just some other random dude. This, I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded by our government. I'm dumbfounded by how stupid our fucking government is.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
If you are just joining us, we got two different live things going on as we bounce back and forth doing the actual news. 2 people are dead in a shooting that took place in Nazi bumfucked Idaho.
The U.S. Marshal, and
we have a live manhunt.
Vests. We also have life flight. Those helicopters
standoff
just over to the left of me as well. And I believe we saw a helicopter from Homeland Security go into the sky about 20 minutes ago or so. So a ton of support.
Dan Bongino.
As you can see, I am just, he's
on the case
where the investigation is happening with many support team members up there doing what they need to do. They expect that it's going to be an all
the former Klan headquarters of the Klan. I said Nazi bumfuck Idaho.
Yeah, Regan, and we're talking.
I thought I got it right.
As you mentioned, officers from several different agencies, including federal agencies.
Those unaware, this is
FBI, as we're
not far. We don't know that, Ducky. We don't know that.
We know that it was,
but we know that. Just because of the area, because of the incident, because this has happened multiple times, and the government has had standoffs with armed Nazis. Ruby Ridge was like what?
Police are looking
just a few miles from this area. Flash.
Sheriff Bob Norris addressing the media in a press conference about an hour and a half ago or so, saying if this individual.
Yeah, my Lord knows the area better. I'm sorry. I should have asked you. Ruby Ridge is like
multi-day incident, so it sounds like
a dozen or 2 miles from
suspect
Coeur d'Alene.
To be out there for some time. He said they were armed with what he described as modern-day sporting rifles. They're in a heavily wooded area where they can conceal themselves.
Apparently, they set
that press conference was
fire intentionally.
Even
to lure people
still under fire from this person
into the area. I don't know specifically firefighters or just
popular
first responders.
People go to
Libertad, welcome in.
And so officers are still trying to figure out who may still be up there. There could be still people being trapped up there or potential more victims.
Yeah, Regan, have you seen them take anyone else off the mountain?
Libertad, you follow my Facebook, don't you? My Facebook page. JustinFREAKIN is still there, right?
Tim, we have not seen any other hikers come off the mountain at this moment. Now they're
no one should live in it, but it's gorgeous. Look at that! Look at that scenery right there.
Information at the next press conference.
We should go take over Idaho. Take it back.
Seen anyone just yet? But yeah, Sheriff Norris said that they don't know how many hikers were up there at the time of the shooting. And with
take Idaho back from the Nazis.
4th of July week, it's just very scary that this type of thing could happen right here in the Coeur d'Alene area, just a tourist destination. But yeah, we don't know how many other people might have been hurt. We don't know how many hikers were up there.
I mean, surely, potatoes got to come from somewhere.
Right now, while also trying to track down those suspects. So it's kind of a twofold situation here, trying to find those suspects and also trying trying to get the community members to safety.
But it wouldn't take that many people
homes.
to move to Idaho to take it over.
Covering that now. I haven't seen anyone come off yet, but again, a huge response. And like I said, they're going to be here out until the late hours tonight. So very, very scary situation. And I'll be honest, when I was driving.
Since both Viz and Curious are here, I'm going to tell this story. So Curious and I were having dinner last night. And as we were leaving the restaurant to go back to the car and smoke before the show. Like, one, I didn't want to like have to carry pizza with me, right? We had pizza left over. So I was like trying to like ram it all in my mouth and eat all I could. But that didn't work out. And I'm like, just box her off, blah, blah. So like we're walking out. Now, so as I understand it, Viz, you have never met this guy before, right? This is your first time meeting him. But both of us have been friends with him on Facebook for well over a decade. 15 years maybe. Because like we're well known in trolling groups.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
So I do not see Viz at all. Like I don't see anybody. Like Curious and I, we're booking it to like go out to the car and smoke and come back in before the show. This guy who is like, John, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. Like you like most nondescript, everyday looking white. Like I have seen 50 white guys in the time I've been in that casino that look exactly like you. I mean, I'm sorry, my friend. I stick out like a fucking sword. I could totally see how somebody could be like, well, that's JustinFREAKIN over there, or Justin Muffins, as he probably knows me. I can totally see how, like, it's like, that's no mistaking, that's me. And now, apparently, he also is aware of who Curiouser is, because of, like, I tag her in Facebook, and we've been to concerts and yada yada together. So, like, I am walking down this corridor, I'm tunnel vision going to the car to get high, and this dude yells my name so loud. And now I hate this. This happens to me all the fucking time. I get recognized when I'm not even the fucking person they think I am. Like, it's just some other stoner that wears a bandana with long hair. And they're like, oh, sorry, you're not who I was looking for. Happens to me all the time. So fucking yells at me like I'm just like stunned. Stone Dog, like we did 5 bong rips. Like 5 packed bongs back and forth with bong rips before we ever even got to the casino. Both of us are like probably overstimulated because like have I been in a casino before? Maybe once or twice, like a fucking long time ago. So like both of us are overstimulated. Casino fucking shit going on. So dude yells at me, like I turn around, my mouth is completely full of pizza. I can't even like talk. I'm spitting fucking cheese and crust and tomato sauce on people. And he's like, hey, don't you know who I am? And I'm like staring at this motherfucker like, no, not at all. I have no fucking idea who you are. And like he says his name, I still don't fucking know who he is. But then I look over like at Viz and like it registers. I'm like, oh hey, and like I hug her because like I've actually met Viz before. in real life. It's been a decade. Yeah, apparently I didn't hear him the first time, so he's screaming at me multiple times. So this is, and then like I'm trying to talk to him, mouth completely full of pizza and blah 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 blah. So that was my Oh, I think we got press conference going on over here.
And the public as much information as quickly as possible. So at approximately 1:21 p.m. this afternoon, we received reports of a fire on the east side of Canfield Mountain. Fire assets responded to the scene, and at approximately 2 p.m. this afternoon, it was reported that firefighters were receiving shots fired at them. We now have two.
That happens.
We have an unknown amount of casualties. We still have civilians that are coming off of that mountain. We might have civilians that are stuck or in shock on that mountain. So this is a very.
And sorry to cut away from that, but that's the other thing, is that he knew who Curiouser was. Curiouser, at the moment, has no idea who either of these people are, and no reason to know who either of them are. But he knows who she is, and asked if we're together or not. That was wild. This is a very, very interesting. The show was very good. And yes, I told Sparkles asked me, like, I didn't even message her first. She messaged me, like, as I picked up the phone and was like, how was it? Like, she knew, like, she's got, like, some kind of bug on my phone. I was like, well, you would have loved the joke where he farted into the mic. See, man, my favorite thing is, like, it was like Curiouser and I had this conversation because I'm like, all right, he does that every night. That's part of the bit. Like, the dude can fart on command. That's pretty cool. And Curiouser's like, are you sure he didn't just have to fart? And I'm like, it was part of the bit. Because I love that. I love, you know, as a performer, I love, you know, what parts seem like they're improvised, but fucking they do it the same way every night, night in, night out. I love that shit. And she was like, but he ragged on her area. I'm like, yeah, but like that's insert joke about the area part. Like the format's the same. Oh, did you get, usually make sure if you get auto modded, tell like somebody like, hey, I got auto modded. So somebody will look and approve, because like you can't say cunt. You can say cunt in my chat. I want people to say cunt in my chat. There is no reason not to say cunt in my chat.
Do we have any indication of what type of firearms are
fucking Twitch being a cunt?
Well, it
CB, welcome in.
Sporting rifles are being used. It appears that high-powered rifles are being used. Yes.
How many acres is this fire?
I don't know.
Started out as a half acre.
Do we know about how many minutes after shots were fired when fire crews arrived?
Well, we got the first call at 1:21, and we have reports that they were taking shots at about 2 o'clock. I don't know what time they arrived on scene. I don't know what time the firefighters arrived on scene, but we can get you that information at the next briefing if you'd like.
How many engines were on scene when shots were fired?
Hey, CB, that's awesome. What weekend show with the Anthony guy? That's cool that you did that. No idea. Jesse James, welcome in. First time chat. I'm JustinFREAKIN, welcome. We find out what that news be doing Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We've currently got a manhunt / standoff with the feds in Nazi fuck Idaho, And then we've got the Senate bill is being debated. That's Trump's big, beautiful bill that's going on live right now on the floor of the Senate.
I would do if we lost the Medicaid home.
Who is this? Is this Senator Mary Jo Capito or whatever the fuck?
It's not sustainable for anyone to do infinite 24-hour care without dire physical health, mental health, and financial consequences, especially as we parents get into our elder years. In Nebraska, 74,000.
I can't think of this woman's name right now.
26,000 Americans on Medicaid. Dr. Ann Anderson Berry.
It's one of those useless. Come on, somebody help me. It's one of your useless senators.
Told Nebraska public media that these cuts would greatly harm those in Nebraska's rural communities. According to Dr. Anderson Berry, this is
I love your CB. I love your avatar.
a workforce issue, an education issue, an economic issue.
It's a take on a Guy Fawkes, right?
To safe childbirth cannot attract or retain young families. They struggle to grow and they suffer generational consequences. Nebraska simply deserves better. Our rural families deserve better. Cutting Medicaid may save money on a spreadsheet, but it will cost lives in real communities and put
B for Vendetta. Love it.
Back on our communities. In South Dakota, 31,000 Americans' insurance is at risk under this bill, including 12,000 Americans.
Let one up, dip one back.
Retired family physician Tom D.
All right, let's flip back. We're gonna go back to like the news of the day. We're still going over the shit with this fucking bill. Bernie congratulates the GOP on getting their bill passed. No, congratulating Rand Paul and Tom Tillis for voting against it.
All of the Democrats for voting against it, and I want to congratulate two Republicans, Senator Paul and Senator Tillis, for voting against it for different reasons, by the way, than I have. But I do find it interesting, and it does tell us where we are as a nation today, that when one of those senators, Senator Tillis, voted against it because he thought it was not a good bill for the people of his home state, North Carolina, suddenly the President of the United States went after him in a very, very vicious way. And today he announced that he will not be seeking re-election. All of the Democrats for voting against it, and I want to congratulate two Republicans.
Now, Shelley, are you saying that you're not mature enough to be able to handle the truth that we're all going to die? We're all adults here.
So people are not, well, we all are going to die. So, for heaven's sakes. So,
If you didn't hear that, somebody yelled out, people are going to die. Senator Joni Ernst says we're all going to die. Now, she did issue an apology for that. So if you want to hold it, because let me tell you, Joni Ernst can be my GOP mommy. But thanks to wokies like you, Shelley, Joni had to come out here and apologize for the facts she laid on us, because you can't handle it.
Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. See, I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
I should change that to where she says JustinFREAKIN. That would be awesome. So, I'm sorry you can't handle the facts that we all gonna die, Shelly. She just hitting you with those truth bombs. Sports cards, Oregon gal, welcome in. You leave my GOP mommy alone. That woman is gorgeous, and she's gonna swoop in and adopt me any day now. Don't listen to him, Senator Ernst. They're just a bunch of meanies. Democratic Senator Patty Murray got up and mocked the GOP over this big, beautiful bill because they're pretending they can't count. They can't do math.
I thank the senator from Oregon and our other budget chairs, ranking members from previous
Yes, more cunt in my chat.
Important. Mr. President, there are some things you can't change with legislation, despite what my colleagues on the other side of the aisle seem to believe. For example, 1 + 1 is 2. And while $1 trillion might have a lot of zeros in it, it is, in fact, a much, much bigger number. Now, that might sound obvious, but apparently my colleagues across the aisle need a little reminder.
Listen, math is hard.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 1/3 chance of winning.
Continue, Senator Murray.
Because right now, Republicans are pretending not to get it. It is almost beyond belief, and it is certainly beyond common sense. After years of complaining,
I feel like Trump has been watching closely because he has commented
at the same time they're talking about how we need to
along the way.
Republicans now are suddenly pretending they don't know how to count. Republicans are suddenly pretending the parliamentarian doesn't exist if they don't talk to her. Republicans are suddenly pretending that precedent doesn't exist if they just fake amnesia, and that norms and consequences for breaking them will disappear if they wish it away really hard. My preschool students had more common sense. Republicans should know if they replace math with magic, if they tear up the Senate process,
math with magic,
off the Senate parliamentarian, that bill will come due. And not just the bill for $4 trillion blown on.
Now, apparently they're planning on throwing out a whole bunch of shit that they know the parliamentarian is going to strike down. They're just not going to go consult the parliamentarian on it. It's wild. Republicans just do whatever the fuck they want.
Tax cuts for billionaires and corporations. The bill will also come due for trashing this Senate process and precedent when Republicans are no longer in the majority. Mr. President, if Republicans are serious about plowing forward with rewriting or ignoring Senate procedure and the laws of mathematics, I just ask, spare me the empty excuses. Spare me the explanations that totally ignore the reality of what you are doing. I mean, do they really think it washes away everything to say, oh, it's fine to break the process in half because We say it's fine. Oh, it's fine. We have the authority to ignore math. Give me a break. To every Republican who really thinks that is a convincing argument, to anyone who
Get that woman a Kit Kat.
can is just an acceptable rationale for going nuclear and pretending the most expensive bill in the history of our country can be paid for by some magic bean counting. Here is my challenge to you. Go back home and try that game with your constituents. Tell them, it's okay, yes, the debt's going to be $4 trillion, higher 10 years from now. That's true. But it's fine. We voted on it, and we get to say $1 trillion is actually 0. Go ahead, see how that works for you. And you may as well tell them you are voting against gravity next, because that's just as reasonable. And don't forget, when you tell your families back home that trillions of dollars in tax cuts for billionaires and companies are free because you waved a wand or you said some magic words, don't forget to tell them those are just tax cuts for the billionaires, not for working families. Don't forget to tell the folks back home, yeah, I voted to say $1 trillion is nothing, but we still need to kick people off of their health care. That's just too expensive. We still need to close those hospitals. We have to cut costs, and we still have to kick people off SNAP because the debt is out of control. And don't forget to mention that, no, we can't afford child care. We can't afford paid family leave. We can't afford to solve your problems. Magic math is apparently just for billionaires. You all are getting less. Please, Republicans, send that message to your constituents. Just see how it goes over. Because you can fool yourself, but you are not going to fool the American people. They don't get to balance their budget with
no.
They don't get to pretend $1 trillion is nothing. And they don't get to pretend that this bill is free. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what policy baseline you all want to use in D.C., those families back home, they're the ones who will be paying the actual cost. I yield back to the Senator from Oregon.
I yield to a question.
I would.
In the time that you were budget chair, did you ever contemplate a situation in which you argued that renewing a tax break that was by law expiring would somehow have no impact on the deficit?
To my friend from Oregon, I never would have contemplated and I never would have put it forward. And I happen to know that if I had have suggested that my Republican colleagues would have been all over me telling me that breaks the rules.
Thank you.
Rules don't apply to Republicans. They never apply to Republicans. Elon Musk has come out against the bill, as if that means anything, as if he has any stroke anymore. Who gives a shit what Elon thinks at this point?
Now, overnight, Republicans released their full bill containing tax and spending cuts that could impact millions of Americans. In a post tonight, Elon Musk says it will destroy U.S. jobs and cause strategic harm. Nicole Killian has the latest.
A rare Saturday session in the Senate.
We have before us today a once-in-a-generation opportunity to deliver legislation to create a safer, stronger, and more prosperous America.
Senate Republicans are trying to pull a fast one on the American people.
Lawmakers work through their holiday recess, racing to meet a July 4th deadline to advance President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill. The president stayed in town too, golfing with senators, urging them to tee it up.
Taking longer, but we'd like to get it done.
Overnight, Senate Republicans released the 900-plus page bill, which includes more funding for the president's top priorities, including border security, defense, and an extension of his 2017 tax cuts. But it comes with deep spending cuts to food assistance and Medicaid, including a projected $930 billion reduction, according to the Congressional Budget Office.
What they're trying to do to cut back on these health care programs and health insurance for 16 million Americans to pay for tax breaks for wealthy people.
Even some Republicans have threatened to oppose the package, citing concerns about the potential impact to rural hospitals. But others say it's time to act.
Are we ready to put our pens down
and move forward.
To address some GOP concerns, the bill now includes a $25 billion rural hospital fund. It also rolls back clean energy tax credits from the Biden era, angering Democrats. In fact, they're hoping to slow this vote down by demanding that the entire bill be read on the Senate floor, which could take up to 15 hours.
That happened. That happened, and they are currently in the debate phase. The senator from Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar.
That will be affected. In many states, including Minnesota and Wisconsin, it is counties rather than the states that run the SNAP program. So I had a visit from some of the rural counties, and they talk about living off a margin, a thin margin, trying to help their taxpayers, trying to get this done. In states like Minnesota and Wisconsin that believe in strong local government, big surprise, our states and a number of other sort of states with bigger rural areas have decided we'd rather have the counties do this. So now
Patty B, welcome in. This is live on the Senate floor right now. They're in the debate portion after they had the entire bill read. They already did Rand Paul.
In these rural
we heard from Sheldon Whitehouse earlier.
So
this is once again, this is live. We'll check back in. Carla, good evening. I think I saw you pop in earlier, but I don't remember if I told you good evening. We're also keeping an eye on the manhunt standoff going on in Idaho.
Chief Meteorologist Jeremy the Goo.
Two firefighters.
The topography a bit. You ran Canfield Mountain.
Killed in an ambush.
Is it
Tier 2? Welcome in.
Down for us. Describe kind of what first responders are against as they're going out there.
Yeah. So we talked a bit about the multiple different entrances.
Oh, a mustache on this guy.
Have
he looks like he's got a mullet too.
Is you are coming into this mountain that starts out somewhat gradual, somewhat inviting. It is open at the bottom, and then you get into more dense trees. Coeur d'Alene and Hayden. So look at all of these different neighborhoods.
My accent is I'm from Appalachia, but I've worked in radio and television all my life.
But as you get closer to Canfield Butte, now the fire icon.
It doesn't really sound like anything. I go north and they'll be like, "Oh, you've got a southern accent." I'm like, people from where I'm at ask me where I'm from.
East. Both of them are very steep. So as you get up into here, you can enter from a neighborhood here and meander your way up toward the top.
Meander, I love it.
Woods on switchback trails as you.
Once again, somebody set a fire. This could be multiple shooters. We do not know for sure yet. At least one shooter
coming in from. So there are multiple ways in. You can.
They set a fire in order to ambush emergency services.
From to the south and even from areas out to the east where there is a whole array of forest.
So I'm assuming where we were seeing the reporter report at was down here at the bottom of this area, maybe over here.
Get a point
in this area right here somewhere.
This area all out there where you're looking and it just looks like steep mountainous terrain. That is a smattering of logging roads, a very easy way in and out through the back if you know how you're moving through this terrain.
A smattering of logging roads. I love it.
Mountain. It does turn into a more
live reporting this from a local station.
I said the bottom is a little more inviting, but as
the shooting happened about
it tends to get steeper
4 or 5 hours ago.
It is a very popular mountain for people.
At least 2 people are dead. We do not know the exact number yet.
People who train for climbing Mount Rainier or Mount Hood nearby will oftentimes make their way to Canfield Butte because that.
This is not far from Ruby Ridge. This is a
very short
area known for doomsday preppers,
you are able to see
Nazi adjacent types
that you find yourself among as you're making your way through the bottom of that hill. So it's a very different situation.
Cunning linguist.
You are in those trees as to once you get above those trees. And then once you're above them, there are different cement outcroppings toward the top of the mountain. If we take this view, you can kind of see some of those structures, some of the towers up there, and then the fire looks like it is just a little bit farther off to the east from there. So you can see some of these open areas, some of the denser wooded areas.
So that is the fire.
Canfield Butte East, and then
only about an acre currently.
So
maybe more since the last time we had an update.
Here, you can get an idea that fire.
But the problem is,
and just kind of move it.
It is supposed to be hot
in that imagery. It is
dry for the next several days. Tomorrow there's a heat advisory in the area.
More toward Canfield Butte East than it is Canfield Butte West. So it's a very dense wooded area that gets very steep very quickly, but it's also butted up to neighborhoods, to Forest Service roads that extend.
And they're unable to get up there to put out the fire because somebody's shooting at them.
You can take them all the way over into Montana. You can take them south to Interstate 90. It is a very, very active area, and there are people who know that area very, very well. So as you zoom out, look what you're seeing here. It's just a whole mess of forest with Forest Service roads that weave through all of them. Mark and
goodness, a potentially huge scene. Jeremy, thank you. Stick with us, Jeremy. We understand we have someone who was near the scene when all this unfolded, who's on the phone with us right now. His name is David. David, can you hear us?
Yeah, they're just
certainly
filling time right now until they get new info in.
You saw where you were at. What
we'll check back in with them. That is KREM, probably out of Boise if I had to guess. Nope, it's out of Spokane. This is Spokane's local station. So we'll check back in. Since we are talking about the Senate bill and unoccupied lands, let's talk about some federal lands. Forest Watch is speaking out against the sale of Bureau of Land Management land in Los Padres.
And a battle is brewing between environmental groups and President Trump's budget bill over the possible sale of some federal lands. As Tracy Lair reports, the Los Padres Forest Watch is taking a stand.
The latest version of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill would not allow the sale of the largest native grassland in California, known as the Carrizo Plain in southeastern San Luis Obispo County, or other federal parks, monuments, and wilderness areas. But Senator Mike Lee of Utah says it would allow the sale of Bureau of Land Management, or BLM land, within 5 miles of population centers.
That's still like 280,000 acres of federal public land in this region. So that's Kern County, Santa Barbara County, Ventura County, San Luis Obispo County, and Monterey County. Those are that's like the area we focus on. Most of that is around the Carrizo Plain National Monument.
BLM land could be sold off for housing to offset tax cuts in the budget bill, at a time when Senator Lee says prices are crushing families and keeping Americans from living where they grew up.
But it's all worded so vaguely that we're not sure that it would just be.
Who wants to live in Utah?
And then there's this other thing where it's like,
definitely don't want it to offset tax cuts for rich assholes.
Why it wasn't historically developed.
But Baker also says oil drilling is in a lot of those areas near the public land.
I think the big issue here is that this would set a precedent for Congress mandating the sale of public lands to agencies. So if it happens this time, even if it's just for BLM land in 11 different states, who knows what's going to be in the next mandate for selling federal public lands.
Los Padres Forest Watch urges people concerned to reach out to their elected officials. You'll find a link to more information on our mobile app and website. In Ventura County, I'm News Channel reporter Tracy Lair.
Well, fuck Mike Lee, first of all. That's the reason why I said Bureau of Land Management. The headline actually said BLM. BLM evokes a certain connotation for most people, even though like the Bureau of Land Management's been around since probably the Roosevelt, since probably Teddy, right? That sounds like a Teddy program. I'm not sure on that one, but if I had to guess, I'm gonna look that up because I bet I'm right. But who's our daddy? Who's our daddy?
The Donald Daddy Trump joke seems to have legs this morning because a reporter in Brussels has asked the former European Council President Donald Tusk whether, like President Trump, he also sees himself as the daddy.
Just very quickly, Prime Minister Tusk, yesterday there was a lot of debate about whether or not Donald Trump is a daddy of NATO. Did you feel you were the daddy of this presidency?
Start under Truman.
As you know, my name is Donald, and but maybe I will surprise you. But maybe I will surprise you. But my father's name was also Donald. It's enough, I think. It's one daddy is enough for sure. It's especially with the same name.
But just to be clear, it started under... I just said it, didn't I? Fucking fuck. Truman. Created during Truman in 46. Tones, welcome in. Stop telling me to watch White Lotus. Daddy Trump found a new daughter. Just sounds so disgusting. He was very smitten with a reporter inside the gaggle at the White House. I think this was Friday.
I spoke with the people on the street. I spoke with youth. They know your name. They know that our president named President Trump is working hard to finally bring peace to the country. I saw hope. They have hope now for a better day in Congo. They see what you're doing as a future, better future for Congo. And I had opportunity to sit down with President Felix Tshisekedi for an interview because I want to understand his mind, what he's thinking, his feeling about everything that your administration is doing. And he told me firsthand that for many years, many American presidents overlooked this conflict. They didn't do nothing. Even myself, I covered President Biden's administration. I pressed many times about this conflict. People are dying.
Come on, man.
This country has so much potential, but they need help because this war is destroying the country. They never gave me...
So she's talking about war in the Congo.
He told me, President Tshisekedi, that you have no idea, he's very thankful for what you're doing, for what your administration is doing. Not only him, the entire Congo.
Now, I don't know what organization she's from. Is some African news organization. That very well could be some kind of state media which wants to suck up to Trump for some sort of favorability. So you might not want to talk about her specifically. She might just be doing the bidding of an organization.
They see that finally they will have hope. And President Tshisekedi also mentioned at the end of my interview that when peace finally comes to Democrat Republic,
White Lotus just looks boring.
Thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace because he said you deserve. You have been working to bring peace in the world, not only at the Congo, and he's very hopeful to meet you in the future.
That's so nice, boy, and that's so beautifully stated. And Caroline said, number one, she did say, and I shouldn't say this because it's politically incorrect, she said, she's beautiful, and you are beautiful. I'm not allowed to say that, that could be the end of my political career.
I mean, she's not bad looking.
But you are beautiful, and you're beautiful inside. So I wish I had more reporters like you. You covered Africa for a long time?
Yes, for all.
Wish you had more reporters that kiss your ass.
I covered even your first administration.
Yes, I know that. That's great. Well, thank you. That's so nice that you said that. Appreciate it.
I don't know why the chat keeps freezing. Somebody say something. I mean, she wasn't bad looking. There we go. Anonymously, welcome in. Fart guy Ichiko. Unplug it and plug it. That's what I did. I refreshed it. T minus. Just Julie, welcome in. All the cool people are here. Hold on, I need to grind some up and pack a new one. Let's talk about TikTok. Apparently, Trump has a buyer for TikTok.
Trump says he is willing to give TikTok more time to sell its U.S. operations, extending the deadline for a deal past June 19th. The ban on Chinese social media giant ByteDance's platform has already been delayed twice. Trump says he has a sweet spot for TikTok after it helped him win over young voters in 2024. The law initially required ByteDance to stop operating in the U.S. by January 19th unless it sold off its U.S. assets to American buyers. The latest potential deal was
It seems so wrong.
citing Trump's steep tariffs.
It seems so anti-capitalist. It's not even funny. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb commie. Let's, while I pack a ball, I'm going to check back in with the Senate here. I think I'm going to, this is live on the Senate floor. They're supposedly going through debate.
Senator from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to be brief. I promise Senator Hollins.
Fucking Tillis is back up here. He got rid of his bolo. He put on a tie.
One, I should have probably said this earlier. I don't. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle, I completely disagree with the narrative of the billionaire tax system.
Let's all pack a bowl. Let's do it.
Reducing or making sure that we don't raise.
Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
All we're establishing is this guy's wicked, sick aesthetic.
Not high enough for this shit.
I guess I gotta thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to JustinFREAKIN.
Hey there, y'all. We're about to get stupid, locked into what that news beat doing. Fu Manchu and a slick bandana, colder than ice, smoother than Santana. Audio, video, chat and calls. Right-wing nut jobs haunt the halls. What you wanna watch? Hey, what you think? And there's only one choice. It's JustinFREAKIN.
The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the culture.
Light one up and tip one back. It's a right to be high. Let's grab a snack. It's fucking news, quick panic attack, and play your cards right and get a titty slap. Jump in discourse, have some fun. The man will talk to everyone. Get high and try to debate. When shit pops off, chat thinks it's great. What do you think you're doing? Join the troll patrol. Wherever discourse is brewing, he gives it that southern drawl.
So let's go ahead and bring in Justin. Hey Justin, how's it going, brother?
First of all, I want to say you're poser South. I'm in Alabama. I'm the real South.
Okay, all right. So why don't you tell us what it takes to be a man?
Well, I don't know. I'm in Alabama and I'll fuck a man in a dress. Why won't you fuck a man in a dress? Are you that insecure that you won't fuck a man in a dress?
That's fantastic. So you're okay with that, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Right-wingers are morons.
Light one it and tip one back. One more clip before we hit the set. Set an alert when that shit goes live. Social fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but it takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for JustinFREAKIN.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm JustinFREAKIN.
Not high enough for this shit.
You heard the lady, light one up, tip one back. Thank you, Media Winch, for that amazing song. I get these right-wingers. They're like, your show's a failure. No one watches you. And I'm like, oh, yeah? Anybody ever wrote a rap song about you? Ha, ha, ha. Matt Walsh, ever call you a formidable voice in the culture?
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
Not the cool Matt Walsh, the bigot Matt Walsh.
Fire generator anytime soon, folks. The generator.
Well, they don't get that, like, I'm successful enough that I can get on here and smoke pot and
that's best case.
Say like really off-color shit. Like, there's no, like, you can't get me fired from my job or anything. That's how successful I am.
that philosophy
Quesadilla. Welcome in. Hold on, Suncats. I'll get you some
plan out
smokies.
power over time. And to
I actually
let
don't
me
see
know
him.
that when all
Will you
these
take a Maynard?
fail, some will make it, some will get subsidized, some will go bankrupt, so it won't be Armageddon, but it's going to be a problem. So they better get it right. It's another example, folks, when you rush a bill and you don't think through the implementation, you don't get it right. And so I hope that my colleagues recognize it's half-baked. It's another reason why we should go back to the House, Mark, get Medicaid right, so I can come on the floor and tell my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. Party that I have never parted from before, because we're rushing to an arbitrary deadline with people who have never worked a day in this industry.
Seriously, I have no clue why they need to pass it by the 4th other than Trump said
but
so.
haven't gotten their hands dirty. I have, and this is another segment of the bill that needs to change. Thank you, Mr. President.
This is once again Tom Tillis, who, because of his opposition, got attacked by Trump, has announced that he will not be seeking re-election.
Mr. President, Donald Trump likes to call the bill that Republicans are trying to rush through.
Is this Tim Kaine?
The Senate, the big, beautiful.
Is this John Lithgow?
Well, it's big, all
Julie,
right.
thank you for the resub.
Senate clerk nearly 16 hours to speed read through it.
Not Kaine. Who is this dude?
If you're a billionaire.
And if you've seen the Saturday Night Live skit,
America. For everybody else, this is a big.
where they asked the dude who was politically motivated,
betrayal because tax
like, name this guy who was the vice presidential candidate in 2016.
Of virtually everyone else. Now, I agree with many of the things my colleague from North
He's
Carolina.
like, but Tim Walz is memorable. This is a guy exactly like
I've
Tim
also read
Walz.
the bill. And if you look at the bill, the tax benefits overwhelmingly go to the very highest income earners of America.
Senator Van Nostrand.
Of those tax benefits go to just
Van Hollen. There we go. There we go.
%. So this is a choice.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Julie, you were correct. Yes, that's Abrego Garcia's senator from Maryland.
To billionaires, additional tax handouts at the expense
Van Nostrand
of the rest of the country.
Kramer's character.
They're choosing to engage
on
in
Seinfeld.
a huge transfer of wealth from people who are working paycheck to paycheck to those who are living off their huge inheritance.
So we've been checking in with the big beautiful bill. This is the debate section. Minty, welcome in. We're checking in with the, I don't want to call it a manhunt or stand. We don't really know what the situation in Idaho is, just that it's an active shooter situation. Because it's just another day. Yeah, Flash, it probably could have been over with hours ago, but the cops are just cowards. So we will check back in with what's going on in Idaho, but we're going to move to the crime and politics overlap a lot nowadays. This is the crime section of the show. We're going to the crime section of the show. I'm gonna skip the Zoran interview. I was gonna play it in its entirety, but we got a lot of shit going on. This is a woman who I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about this one. This one's got a lot of layers. So this woman in Florida was apparently being a Karen, attacked 2 teenagers in a road rage incident. But now she's going to end up getting deported by ICE.
A woman convicted of battery on 2 teenage girls after a case of road rage faces potential deportation. I'm Chandler Morgan in for Tanika Hughes.
And I'm Ben Becker. New tonight, a judge found Jessica Goncalves guilty after hearing testimony. Action Jax confirmed with ICE that she's from Brazil and is not a legal U.S. citizen. Action Jax Alexis Clevenger is live outside the Duval County Courthouse. Alexis, the woman walked out of the courtroom, but not in handcuffs.
Ben and Chandler, a judge sentenced her to 6 months probation for attacking 2 teenage girls in a 2024 road rage incident. But due to her legal status, an ICE spokesperson says now it'll be up to an immigration court to decide if she has a legal path to remain in the U.S.
I find that the defendant is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
That's the verdict from a Duval County judge for 31-year-old Jessica Goncalves. She's the woman seen in this video arguing with 2 teens last year. JSO says the fight started after one of the teens accidentally cut Jessica off while they were waiting in line at a charter school.
Oh, that happens all the time.
And things get physical.
Get the fuck over it.
You can see Goncalves grab one of the girls by her sleeve and yank her forward. Thursday, Goncalves took to the stand to tell her side of the story.
And I grabbed her sleeve in order to show that my children are in the car.
Her defense attorney says all she wanted to do was let the driver who cut her off know that she was protecting her kids.
There was a language barrier when she was trying to speak to her. The girls didn't take her serious. They were laughing at her.
Meanwhile, the teens testified and described their thought processes during the incident.
Out of my car, and I was looking at the person that was in the car, and I had my hands like this, and I was asking what happened, what's wrong. The first time it was as she was approaching me, and she had put her arms out and she had touched my chest. I was asking her what was wrong with her, and I was just very scared.
And their family sent Action News Jax a statement saying, all we wanted was for her to understand that you can't do this to people, especially children, and get away with it. Now, ICE initially told us that upon completion of local charges, Goncalves would be turned over to ICE, but now that they will have more information at a later date. For local coverage, you can count on Live Downtown, Alexis Clevenger, Action News Jax.
Like, I don't want to be mean or anything. Like, looks like the kid from The Mask. That's kind of mean, Quesadilla. I could not find a local news story about this, and this seems like a wild story for them not to have done it, because it happened like a week ago. And I cannot find like a local news hit on it. So we're going to go to the district attorney's office in Philadelphia. A man was posing as an ICE agent, zip-tied a woman, robbed her.
Good morning, everyone. I'm ADA Joe Lanuti. I'm the Assistant Chief of the Gun Violence Task Force. And today I'm announcing the arrest and charges for a Mr. Robert Rosado. Mr. Rosado has been charged with robbery, a felony in the first degree, and related charges in connection to a commercial robbery that occurred on June 8th, 2025 in Northeast Philadelphia, specifically 6500 Harbison Avenue. Mr. Rosado went to this auto center and committed this crime. The allegations are as follows.
I have multiple stories of it happening, Suncats.
Masquerading
as getting out of hand.
Immigration officer. He announced that he was with immigration. He informed the employees working there that there were, quote, illegals present. He then zip-tied one of the employees behind her back, as you can see here on the right. He then proceeded to take approximately $1,000 in cash from the business. He then fled in a white van. This matter was assigned to Northeast Detective Zanatich, who was assigned to this case. He canvassed.
I thought he was going to say Xanadu.
Both canvassed the surveillance footage of that white vehicle and were able to find the tag, which was registered to the defendant.
What is wrong with me?
At that point, the FBI Violent Crimes Task Force assisted detectives in locating Mr. Rosado. We executed 2 search warrants at residences connected to Mr.
And also, that's how you get new followers on Twitch.
We recovered
Sing goddamn ABBA. The kids will love it.
Radio, a zip tie,
then it touched these nuts.
A black handheld radio.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
As well as an airsoft gun and...
All right, these fuckers are boring me. That's Larry Krasner right there.
Last Wednesday. And just...
You guys get the gist of what happened, dude. Zip-tied a woman pretending to be ICE. At least they caught him. It's amazing he didn't get away with it. How many fuckers have gotten away with it? Here's actual federal agents doing a raid. Blasting their way into a Huntington Park home in California.
Huntington Park, where federal agents forced their way into a home. NBC4's Lauren.
How do we know you're bisexual?
Lauren.
Excellent, excellent.
Annabelle, good morning. Jenny Ramirez and her boyfriend and kids live in this home. They're all U.S. citizens. She tells me a neighbor called her telling her Border Patrol was outside her home. She was frantic. She says she jumped out of bed. You can see she's actually in the bedroom.
Not enough for the shit.
Shattered glass here. Her neighbor told her Border Patrol was outside. We're actually working to talk with Border Patrol to find out more about their role in this situation. But Jenny tells me she jumped out of bed with her 1-year-old kid to check on her.
Hey now, B, I never trusted the cops. I worked in news for over 20 years. If there is one thing I can impart on you, like, cops will lie about shit when they don't even have any reason to lie. It's the weirdest goddamn thing. Because I've seen it. I've seen it on stories I've actually covered and been like, there was not a goddamn reason in the world for you to lie about this. Why would you? You guys are just pathological. I've come to the conclusion that cops are just psycho, which I mean, you kind of need sociopaths, psychopaths to do the job. Normal person can't really be a cop. But that's all the more reason why you got to be like really super strict on them. You can't let them have a long leash. You got to pull that shit tight. Because they're like, you know, they're bad dogs. They're ravenous motherfuckers. Like, you want them like that because you want to, you know, you got to have a cop that's got to be able to pull the trigger with. And that's the thing. Our cops are goddamn fucking cowards. They don't go running into gunfire. I won't say don't because it's like half and half, right? H&M shooting. We watched that shit. We watched the body cam footage or the security cam from the shopping center. The cops did the right thing. Like, I think the dude might have even been off duty and went and got a rifle and fucking did exactly what you want a cop to do. Go take cover, fucking pick the dude off. It was amazing. So I give the cops credit when credit is due, right? This what got me suspended from Twitch for a year. People had to come watch me on Kick for a year. The shooting in Louisville was a Louisville bank heist, and the cops rolled up on the scene. We watched the body camera. Man, they did a great job sweeping the area and taking out the shooter. Cops do a good job, but not most of the time. Maybe 40%, maybe 30%. It's insane. And like that kind of reflects like their closure rate for cases is between 30 and 40%. Usually like their shooting on the range is like 30%. So I mean that sounds about right. 30 to 40% of the time they do what they need to, but most of the time cops are goddamn useless. And for things that aren't like an active shooter situation, cops usually make things worse. They make active shooter situations worse. We've watched 10 or more, probably, of like the hero, the good guy with a gun, actually take out an active shooter, and the cops roll up and shoot the hero. Beat their wives about 40% of the time. Ooh, good one, DJ Dub. So yeah. So I'm sorry. I got off on a tangent. That happens sometimes. I apologize. I don't even remember what I was talking about now.
Her 6-year-old, and then she heard a loud explosion.
I just heard the loudest blast in my life. I told him, you guys didn't have to do this. You guys scared my son, my baby, and myself. We were on the floor on the hallway. It was horrible.
Visibly still shaken, I spoke with Jenny Ramirez about an hour and a half after federal agents forced their way into her home here on Flower Street in Highland Park a little after 6 a.m. Agents could be seen using what appeared to be explosive breaching equipment to get inside and even sent a drone in. Ramirez says
oh yeah, they love doing this shit.
At least 10 agents.
They love doing this shit, and they know that she is no danger to them whatsoever. They just wanted to do this. They absolutely knew that this woman, no danger whatsoever. And fuck these cops.
Rushed into her home with several others around the perimeter. Ramirez says
Karen Reed Appreciation Society.
And that when she asked why, they wouldn't tell her. But she thinks it might be connected to a crash they were involved in the city of Bell last Friday.
It was not their fault. It was not their fault.
Ramirez and her family are in the black Jeep. She says they were in the area when an immigration raid started. They tried to leave. Ramirez,
oh, wow. I think we watched this, didn't we?
Federal agents stopped sharply in front of them. Ramirez's boyfriend, who was driving the Jeep, tried to stop in time but hit the truck. The truck then reversed into Ramirez and her family. She says agents tried to take her boyfriend then, but eventually told them they were free to leave. Ramirez says she filed a police report and filed a claim with her insurance. And while she waits to find out what happens next, she has this message for those coordinating operations.
Please, just before you do anything, please make sure that the people are not getting hurt. There's children. There's innocent people. I know you're against criminals, but we are not criminals. Not the whole world is criminals. I'm just begging for mercy. So please let it end. Please.
Now, I was with Ramirez this morning when her boyfriend called her. He told her that Border Patrol got a hold of him over the phone. They said he needs to turn himself in. He said he's not hiding. He's just trying to get a lawyer because he's fearful.
Fucking wow.
What will happen next? Of course, this is very much a developing situation. We are reaching out to Border Patrol to find out more about this. We're going to be covering this throughout the day, and we'll keep you posted this afternoon at 3 p.m. Reporting live, I'm Lauren Coronado, NBC4 News.
And let me show you what kind of facility they're planning on keeping these completely peaceful, innocent migrants in. This is Christy Nome on with Jesse Waters, so.
But now CCOT's got competition. Alligator Alcatraz. DeSantis is launching the detention center with swamp security. They had an open house this morning. Watch.
I mean, this is going to be, illegals will come in, they'll be processed, there'll be places for them to be housed.
This is gonna be in textbooks in like 100 years where we're studying this time period. They're gonna be watching this video, like some kind of like embedded video in their like whatever iPad thingy they're watching their lessons on. They're gonna watch this fucking video, like, oh, look at these fascists right here.
Have an ability for food.
Yeah, this is what they're going to do instead of protecting you from hurricanes.
Rights, if they have that, because there is a process that's involved with this. So this is really everything. This is going to be a self-contained little area. And then, of course, you also have stuff for the staff that work here. So we've got laundry facilities, we've got showers, we've got, obviously, there you see the shower and bath facility. And by Tuesday...
In the middle of the Everglades.
Jose better not bust out a crock rock. if he
no
does,
bars,
then
welcome
bring his
in.
flippers. Because ice skaters
Got that skinny Pete avatar.
This is as secure as it gets. I mean, if a
Piss jugs, you say? I would give anything to take a jug of my piss and pour it right in Dan Crenshaw's open eye hole. Give me that eye pussy, sir. I'd piss right all over Ron DeSantis's face.
To escape from here somehow, and I don't think they will. You've got nowhere
Peter
to go.
Ducey needs a dookie.
Trudge through the swamp and dodge alligators on the way back to 50, 60 miles just to get to civilization. Not going to happen.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem joins me now. Okay, Secretary.
Now, this is an evil, just heartless woman. But that does not change the fact that she could be my GOP mommy. Kristi Noem, I'm single. Give me a call, 917-830-4359.
Here, we had a little
replaced her heart with collagen.
Broke out of a detention center. Was the idea to put it near a swamp so it was more secure and you didn't really have to have the taxpayers pay extra for security?
Well, ever since President Trump came into office, he encouraged us to build relationships with governors and with local law enforcement to go out there and help us with these enforcement activities. So we've been doing that on arrests and detainments. And now this is absolutely fantastic.
She got a cute little nose is what that nose job is. You have a preference on cat?
DeSantis is following through on it. I think it's absolutely
I don't see any
perfect because this is a state that is stepping up. And I have recently gone to the Republican governors.
Smokey's in the window.
And talked to all the governors in this country about how they can help us more, get criminals off of our streets. And Florida is helping us out with detention beds and helping us get people that we have detained in a situation to where they can get on a flight and get out of this country. And listen, Jesse, by you calling these guys bad hombres, they really are. I was talking to a U.S. Marshal just yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that they were deporting a plane load of illegals, and one of them was a cannibal. And he kind of said it offhanded, and I said to him, what do you mean it was a cannibal? And he said, well, we put him on the plane.
It's a great Kesha song.
Started to eat his own arms. He was
I don't believe it.
This is the kind of people that President Trump is getting off of our streets. People who are murdered.
Or that somebody having a mental health crisis.
And are deranged individuals that we are working to get out of this country as fast.
Yeah, did you guys hear what she said? The late, great Hannibal Lecter over here.
Get on a flight and get out of this country. And listen, Jesse, by you calling these guys bad hombres, they really are. I was talking to a U.S. Marshal just yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that they were deporting a plane load of illegals, and one of them was a cannibal. And he kind of said it offhanded, and I said to him, what do you mean it was a cannibal? And he said, well, we put him on the plane, put him in his seat, and he started to eat his own arms.
I don't believe it.
Individual. This is the kind of people that President Trump is getting off of our streets. People who are murderers and rapists and are deranged individuals that we are working to get out of this country as fast as possible. So Alligator Alcatraz is the future. This is states who are stepping up and helping us solve this problem of making sure that when we arrest these people, they have somewhere to go to be processed so that we can get them out of this country and face the consequences for their crimes.
Secretary, was this bad hombre like handcuffed to something and he was trying to chew his arm off so he could escape? Or was he just hungry?
What bothered me the most was that this U.S. Marshal just said it like it was normal. These are the kind of people they have to work with.
Because they're making it up, Kristi.
So they had.
Or you're making it up.
Plane and had him in shackles for the flight because he was such a dangerous individual. And when he got back to his seat and put another individual in the seat near close.
Now I'm hungry.
He said he literally was eating his own arms. That for him, he was. That is what he did. He called himself a cannibal, ate other people, and ate himself that day. Well, they had to take him off of the flight and get him medical attention, and then he went back into the system. But they have what our law enforcement do.
I could go for a bite.
ICE officers and Border Patrol, these marshals, what they do is.
I don't think this is real.
They are bringing our communities much more safety. And I'll be down at Alligator Alcatraz here in just a couple days when it opens. I'll be there to see the first people processed, and I'm looking forward to it because this is what we need. The federal government and the same old contractors and the same old people who've always done this job for years and years isn't always the answer. The taxpayers deserve.
Let him finish his meal.
That's responsive to people, that's affordable, that does it to a very high standard, and that is exactly.
Listen, Christy, I don't believe you. Do you think we just fell out of a coconut tree?
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
I condemn her.
He condemn.
She's horrible. But she can still be my GOP mommy. That's what she had to say about the about the immigrant center being built in the Everglades. Here's what activists have to say about the immigrant center being built. Let's say I think there's reporting here. From the Florida Times Union. You see the protests outside of the center, across the road. It's right in the middle of the Everglades.
Everglades in itself is just a very sacred area, and the habitat here needs to be preserved and taken care of. And then we have the natives here that are on this land that protect this land and take care of this land. So there's that factor in itself. And then obviously what they're trying to do here with Alligator Alcatraz is horrendous and just really not acceptable. I'm hoping that today we can follow the natives' lead and try and bless the land and protect the land and do what we can, and then thereby protect the people, because first of all, no human is illegal.
I don't give a shit about no flag.
I see like MAGA online trying like, oh, you guys put your Palestinian flag away and then get.
And it's just very unfortunate that this is being put through with no laws being obeyed. This is almost like we're living in a foreign country. They didn't do any environmental impacts. They didn't do anything about the housing, whether it's going to be safe. They're leaving these people out in the middle of hurricane season. This is just absolutely ridiculous.
That's why they want to keep us segregated, CB. That's why they hate colleges. You go to college and you meet all kinds of different people, and it's hard to hate those people. As I've said, like all the Chinese people I met in college told me like we were completely propagandized when it came to China, that they had it really good. But then again, as I'll also say, if you're here in college from China, you're probably pretty affluent.
I guess it's our
The difference for an affluent person here in the United States and us plebes is quite significant, and I'm sure the same dynamic exists in China as well. Though data would seem to suggest not to the same extent.
Everything, our lives depend on this Everglades. And, you know, bringing this facility here is disrupting everything from A to Z, the ants all the way to, you know, to us.
That's what protesters had to say in the Everglades. Outside of the Alligator Alcatraz is being built. All right, the next couple of stories are going to get a little crazy. I don't know which one to start with. This to do this one. Multiple 5th grade girls have been arrested in a murder plot. Oh God, I'm laughing about it. I shouldn't be. I think this happened in Arizona. Being charged with murder. God damn it. I look, Ducky keeps me Justin, they're 10. Yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. They said 10 and 11-year-old. I mean, it happens. There are little psychopaths, I'm sure. Psychopaths come from somewhere. What was it gonna? Oh, I was gonna check back in Idaho. That's what we were gonna do. Let's go back over to Idaho. Well, they're not. They're doing their evening news right now, so they're not covering the
such a fun place
standoff, manhunt, hybrid shooting situation.
They could be #1 in the whole country.
Victims of mesothelioma and their families may be entitled to receive a cash award from the estimated $30 billion in asbestos trust.
Oh, are you guys ready? We're asbestos coming back. We haven't covered that on the show, but apparently asbestos totally coming back. Making a comeback in the Trump administration. Sorry, we were going to check in with the ambush. They apparently set a fire in Idaho and ambushed some cops. Ambushed some fire department personnel. We don't know if they intended to ambush cops or anything, but it apparently was intentional. We'll check back in with them because, like, as far as we know, the suspect or suspects still on the loose. Is an active situation as far as we know. But since we're talking about ambushes, I wanted to play this one for you. Where did this occur? This actually happened in Knox County, Tennessee. This was the TV show. My friend actually worked on this TV show back in the day. This is Patrol Live. It's on like True TV, or maybe it's just YouTube now, or Law and Crime or whatever channel, but this is On Patrol Live, I think is the name of it. They got ambushed on live TV.
It's a shocking moment on live TV.
Sheriff's office!
Cameras follow deputies on the cop show On Patrol Live as they respond to a call about shots fired in Knox County, Tennessee. But as they search the perimeter of the woods, they hear noises. Deputy Dalton Swanger investigates further. He heads into the brush, he's armed, and he has no idea what's awaiting him.
Show me your hands, who are you?
It's an ambush. He's slammed in the head by a brick or rock. You can see the commotion through the leaves. If you listen closely, you can hear the thud as the deputy is hit. A colleague comes to his aid.
That camera work.
Got knocked out. They hit me with something hard.
You see fellow officers drag his limp body out of the woods.
Yeah!
There's the bloody gash on his head. He's able to get up and walk away with assistance. An all-out search for the suspect is launched. He's placed in handcuffs and escorted from
It sounded like he was waking up.
Back to the New York studio of the Reels TV cable network, where the producer and host of the show, Dan
Abrams,
gives viewers an update.
We're getting another update on the condition.
What the fuck is the deal? Oh, shit. What's the deal with, like, they look like they're American Idol? Is this Randy Jackson? Like, that don't work for me, dog. We got Paul Abdul over here. Who's this dude? The guy from Maroon 5 or Imagine Dragons or something?
County officer.
Yeah, you go on to the next round.
Before that he was in serious condition at the hospital. We're now getting the report that he's in serious but stable condition. So that is a relief.
The suspect is facing a number of charges.
Not a relief. We almost had another good cop. This is ESPN. Joey, welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. This time, the cops ambushed a suspect. I think we might have watched this chase. I think we watched this police chase. It would have been about 2 months ago, it looks like. Back in April. So I think we watched the chase, and now we're going to see it with body cam footage. Oh, hold on. I should hit the content warning.
Dramatic body cam video just released of Anaheim police opening fire on a driver at the end of a wild pursuit. It happened on April 16th. Chris Christie and Air 7 overhead that night as it was all unfolding.
A shooting suspect refusing to pull over. Here comes a black and white along the right rear, trying to spin the truck out of control. A failed pit maneuver attempt there.
It all began a short time earlier with reports of shots fired at the Kona Motel. Responding officers finding a shooting victim right out front.
Please help. I need an ambulance now, bro. What's that? Please help me.
Oh, God.
Is he still here? No, he left.
Police quickly spotting a fleeing pickup truck exiting the Kona Motel. That driver refusing to stop, and the pursuit was on. Police now releasing night vision video from a law enforcement chopper.
The heat is on.
At one point, the fleeing driver gets trapped by traffic, and pursuing officers try to end it right there.
They tried to push him into the side.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That didn't work. We're southbound State College through Lincoln.
But that onto the curb
was amazing.
Was successful in damaging the truck's tires, and soon it was throwing sparks. And a short time later, a pit maneuver brings the pursuit to an end.
There's a pit on the memory drive over the riverbed. The car isn't quite immobilized yet.
Yep.
Pit on the vehicle.
It's cool to watch the follow-up of
the pickup truck stopped. So they're
the chase that we watched live or close to live.
When the driver, believed to be armed, refused to exit the truck, officers opened fire, and you could see all the bullets shooting through the truck's windshield. Here's another view from an officer's body cam.
I don't know how I feel, because this guy was a shooting suspect.
Moments later, the truck's passenger side door opens. Chris Christie and Air 7 calling it.
Looks like that passenger side door is open and somebody has just exited the vehicle on the passenger side. Now with their hands up, walking backwards in the direction.
The driver apparently died.
Despite the hail of bullets, that passenger was not injured. A short time later, officers moving in, removing the driver, and performing CPR. He could not be saved. He's been identified as 51-year-old Danny Lee Coelho of La Habra. This is a gun recovered inside that pickup. It's been positively linked to the shooting of the man earlier at the Kona Motel.
I think he shot at the cops too, didn't he? I don't remember exactly.
And will be reviewed by the Orange County District Attorney's Office to determine if the officer's actions in this case were within the law.
I mean, usually I don't take the side of the cops, but it was an active shooting situation. Dude had a gun. You all saw him. He had a gun. Let's go to this one. Earlier we did the one about the dude posing as ICE. This was a guy posing as a federal marshal. Tried to rob a liquor store in Houston.
New at 10 tonight, a man dressed like law enforcement holds a man up at gunpoint. You can see the tactical vest and the mask. The victim says he repeatedly identified himself as a cop until he forced him to the ground, but he didn't know someone else was watching. ABC 13's Luke Jones is live with more of that video. Luke, you also got an interview with the victim.
Yeah, the victim actually ended up shooting at the suspect. We know at least one of those shots landed. Police say the suspect later turned up at the hospital. But get this, they haven't yet filed any charges against him.
Wait, what?
He's convinced he had accomplices. Police telling us this is all still under investigation. Javier Reyes and his wife in an armed confrontation with a suspected police impersonator June 15th outside the liquor store they own at Gessner and Harwich.
He say, I'm the police. Pull up your hand, get on the floor, I'm the police, I'm the police.
Reyes had just gone to take out the trash when a red car pulls up. Then a masked man runs up with a flashlight and
ain't no police I ever seen.
With the word Marshal on it.
They told me I'm a cop. I'm the police. Get out on the floor, and I say I don't do anything.
You only see that one suspect in the video, but Reyes says there was another person driving the car he arrived in. Reyes says the man forces him to the ground and soon reveals his true intentions.
And when he get me in the floor, he told me it's a robbery, I'm not the police.
Watching this all from inside the store, Reyes' wife quickly grabs a gun, then confronts the armed suspect.
Good girl.
Losing his shoes and his gun in the process.
Oh, amazing!
He draws his own weapon. He fires multiple rounds, at least one of which hits the suspect, who then crawls to his getaway car. Reyes firing a final parting shot.
America!
The car drives away.
The police told me I did great job.
You did a great job.
His wife are okay, but he shudders to think how differently things could have turned out. When the suspect demanded Reyes' valuables,
I say no, and he put the gun in my head. And they told me, I can kill you right now.
But the fake cop clearly wasn't a match for two plucky business owners. In Southwest Houston, Luke Jones, ABC 13, Eyewitness News.
Flash, you still here? That's like the story, that's the kind of story you love. Fucking amazing. Ah, fuck. I gotta reset the clock. Excellent job. Way better than a cop. Because, like, this is the kind of thing that happens when you get a cop in that situation. This cop has been suspended, demoted and suspended after this confrontation with a man at a gas station you're getting ready to see.
To a story you saw first on KDKA, an Elwood City police officer is now temporarily off the force after this controversial confrontation at a gas station was caught on camera. Tonight, Borough Council voted for punishments for...
That's not a controversial confrontation, that's assault.
Sergeant Rob Magnifico. KDK's Jennifer Barrasso joins us.
His name is Magnifico?
Voting. Jen.
Thanks, Cam. Well, Elwood City Borough Council voted unanimously to suspend Sergeant Rob Magnifico for 10 days without pay. They've demoted him from sergeant to officer. They've also ordered him to do anger management classes and de-escalation courses. We caught up with the mayor after the meeting.
Just 10 days. Yes, media wins.
We don't condone this kind of behavior. It will be addressed. And I think
you do condone this kind of behavior. You only suspended him for 10 days, and you just demoted him. You condone this type of behavior.
Yeah, I said from the beginning, we don't condone this kind of behavior. It will be addressed, and I think we took the steps this evening to do that. We took this matter very seriously.
Absolute bullshit.
Time and effort went into this decisions made by myself and the governing body. And we want to continue to move forward as a community and making sure that Elwood City is still the place to be.
We showed you the video that put Magnifico in hot water. You see 20-year-old Devin Hartman hit the wall after being pushed by the then sergeant inside the Sheetz store on June 6th after 1 a.m. Hartman tells KDKA he was told to leave Sheetz after he and his friend were recording or vlogging. He says he left his cell phone and came back to get it, but employees told him it wasn't there. They called police when he refused to leave. The 20-year-old said he told officers it was his phone and even put the password in it, but they wouldn't give it to him.
I don't give a bro, I want my phone.
When he cursed, Magnifico comes from behind the food station and shoves him into the wall.
No reason to do that.
Up, gets his phone, and he asks the officer for his information.
My name is Magnifico. My badge number is 5815. Don't touch me.
Yeah, what a piece of shit.
Rob Magnifico was not at tonight's meeting, and the next step, the bargaining unit has a chance to appeal the decision, and at last check, he is still the head football coach at Riverside High.
Oh, that makes sense.
Jennifer Barrasso, KDKA TV News.
Thanks, Jen.
That's some head football coach energy. Media Winch, I did not catch a ban on Facebook. I am quite possibly completely nuked from Facebook. Much like Justin Mullins, Justin Muffins may be a thing of the past. I do have another one, though. I got one more. That's my last one. Oh, goddamn. This is usually something you do. I saw like a thing that like they're apparently like nuking all kinds of accounts. Like is it David McAfee, the anti-theist dude? I think he got nuked. I think a couple other people said they got nuked, so if I get reinstated, I'm gonna lock it down and try not to troll people. And just post my stuff. Just not even interact with my friends. Just use Messenger and post my stuff. Not use Facebook for anything else. Usually, the situation, I can be Justin Stuffins. There's another Justin Muffins, but it predates me being Justin Muffins. Now, it doesn't predate me coming up with the name Justin Muffins, so I wonder if I made that account, if that's because, like, it's been used once. The only thing it says is, I like muffins, he. And this... That could have been something I could have posted, like, 2010. And it's funny because I don't actually like muffins. I don't like muffins. Anyway, the joke I've been trying to do. Usually, this happens after you leave the liquor store, not coming into the parking lot of the liquor store. Happened on the 23rd. It's about a week ago. Like last Monday. A hell of a crash. I'm going to guess Florida. Nope, Memphis. This is Memphis. Thistle Girl. What does that even mean? The dude is able to get out on his own power, apparently. Hopefully nobody was in that SUV. God damn. Like, it's totaled. That truck maybe to the, like, these two totaled. The truck may be totaled. If it didn't do any damage to the frame, it might be okay. Aww. The driver is trying to make his way out. He looks like he's elderly. It could have been a medical emergency. Could have been a accelerator stick. Ooh. He's lucky to be alive. Is that a fire hydrant? Much rather Smokey vomit in the floor than up on the windowsill. Oh my God! He went and got up in that windowsill and then came flying out. Like, did like a Velcro stick to the side of that chair and like projectile vomited off the side of it. Smokey! Jesus Christ! He did the thing the car did. Now I got cat vomit all over the place. Hold on. Put you back over here on Idaho is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to latest developments in Idaho, hopefully.
The 500 block of South McKinnon Road, where this all happened early Tuesday morning. It started out as
they're talking about a different one.
Now Guillermo Gutierrez Ortiz faces charges including resisting arrest and
different
assaulting
suspect.
officers. Now take a look at this. We got this picture from the Spokane County Sheriff's Office showing the suspect on that rooftop where deputies say he assaulted them. This all started when deputies responded to that burglary in progress and say they found Gutierrez Ortiz still inside the home. A neighbor reported seeing him trying to start a fire inside. Deputies say they negotiated with him for more than 30 minutes, saying he at one point yelled out a window that he was there to work on the house and that he didn't have time to deal with law enforcement. Instead, deputies say he then climbed onto the roof. When they followed to arrest him, Gutierrez Ortiz is accused of punching, kicking, and assaulting them.
And in the process of placing handcuffs on you, you assaulted multiple officers.
Yes.
One of the officers, you allegedly bit that person's hand.
Bond was set at $10,000, and the burglary victim reports more than $6,000 in damages to the home, including damage to electrical outlets, a chimney.
With its powerful telescopic zoom, the Flash Force tactical flashlight is always ready to light up the night. And if you scan the code on your screen and order right now, we'll send you a second Flash Force tactical flashlight absolutely free. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. Scan the code on your screen to order now.
Wait, what? I can use my own body's GLP-1 to help manage my weight?
Yes, with Slim GLP. It contains a patented formula with dozens of clinical studies.
No injections, no prescription, and save money? Sounds easy.
Yes, with Slim GLP, just one capsule a day.
Keeps my gut healthy, lose fat, not muscle. Sign me up.
Yes, Slim GLP does all of that. Slim GLP, the wait is over. Scan the code on your screen to order.
Wish you could yell at mosquitoes to stay off your skin.
Now you can with Skeeto Band. This tech marvel harnesses sound waves to create an invisible shield. No nasty chemicals or odor. It works up to 130 hours on a single fast charge. Get a cool-looking Skeeto Band for every member of your family. It's the healthy way to yell, "Stay away, mosquitoes."
Hey, do you dread scrubbing away stubborn dirt and stains? I used to, until I found the Spinny Scrub. Let me show you why this little powerhouse is a total game changer. You can also scan the code on the screen now and find out more. This is the Spinny Scrub, your new best friend when it comes to cleaning. It's got a powerful motor that rotates at high speed, so no more scrubbing by hand. It comes with 5 different brush heads, so no matter what you're cleaning, you've got the right...
I'm so sorry.
From your back.
I'm so sorry. I go over there, and they've got, like, they're wanting food. And I look at their food bowl, and apparently they got ants in their food bowl. Because I keep moving the food bowls. And I got ants over here in the kitchen because it's, like, right at the fucking door. Oh, it's just a whole thing. Was that some sort of sex story? The fuck were we watching? What'd you guys put it on? Well, I need to get them fixed up. Shit, let's get this over with. We did that. There's fire in California. Tropical storm Barry is gonna hit Florida. You guys don't need to know about that. They're having anti-government protests in Serbia. Let's find out about that. That's good. Oh shit, they're still looking for this Travis Decker dude. I think he's dead.
Their father. The search for him expanded into neighboring Kittitas County.
You really want to catch this guy, and it's got to be
this dude's dead.
Frustrating not to be able to do that. To not know where he is.
Ants are usually bad in the summer.
Former King County Sheriff and King 5 law enforcement analyst John Urquhart says the decision by the Kittitas County Sheriff's Office to...
I had not taken any proactive measures to get rid of ants.
When the dogs can't find him, when the helicopters can't spot him.
And I think what it was is like the cats vomited near the front door and the ants attacked the cat. Like cat vomit is like a really nice bait for ants, apparently. So it was close to their food bowl, and now, I just have a problem with ants in the food bowl now, and it sucks. And I'm sorry, babies. I'll get your food bowls fixed up and move them somewhere for you. Bubby, get away from my fucking tray. We're going to Serbia, where they're having anti-government protests. I wanted to stay and listen to music or watch some TV shows, but I gotta get the cats taken care of. Tomorrow will be Live Music Monday. We're gonna do Glastonbury. We have some Glastonbury news on the list for tonight. For the Associated Press. Oh, I'm not leaving just yet, anonymously. We still got another 20 minutes. The AP doing a horrible job telling us what's going on. Thousands of people Sunday set up street blockades in Serbia, angry over the arrest of anti-government protesters who clashed with police at a massive rally earlier in the day, demanding early elections. You have a BBC story on it? Here we go. Let's find out.
Moving on, tensions flared in Serbia's capital after a massive anti-government protest escalated into violence near the national parliament. Protesters clashed with the riot police in one of the largest demonstrations in Belgrade. The rally was reportedly attended by over 140,000 people. It was the culmination of nearly months of protests, largely led by university students who are calling for snap parliamentary elections and accountability after a deadly tragedy. Now, the movement began in the wake of a railway station roof collapse in Novi Sad last November, which killed 16 people. Protesters blame corruption for the disaster. The outcry has shaken the grip of President Alexander Vucic's 12-year rule.
Well, the hope is that something will change, that after 30 years we will be able to truly live in the society we have been fighting for since the 90s. At least that is why I am here.
We are here to support the students with all our strength and courage and everything they stand for, to provide them with immense support, to tell them that we are in all our hearts.
Protesters were seen attempting to push past police barricades near the parliament. They waved Serbian flags and chanted, "We want elections."
Today we are here to change Serbia and to finally see an end to this government, to somehow, I don't know how, to get to those elections, to call them, and yes, I hope that they will be as fair as possible, because there will never be completely fair ones, and then we will start another fight, only not on the streets, but at the polling stations.
I have no idea the history of Serbia. I just know like Clinton got involved in the 90s.
Local time.
There was some sort of ethnic cleansing going on.
Supporters camped nearby. Police used pepper spray as demonstrators hurled flares and other objects. Eyewitnesses report that police also used tear gas and stun grenades. Several people were arrested. The protest was also marked by an ultimatum. Organizers had given President Vucic until 9 p.m. local time to call new elections, a deadline he has ignored. Vucic suggests foreign elements behind the movement. The outcry over the Novi Sad disaster has already toppled the country's prime minister, but the governing party remains in power, with a reshuffled government and the president at its heart. All eyes are now on Vucic, who is expected to address the public on Sunday.
See, why did the AP do such a horrible job of letting us know what's going on? That actually detailed what the fuck was happening. A syringe attack happened at a festival in France. 145 people reportedly pricked with a syringe.
People are under arrest after a possible syringe attack at a series of music festivals across France. 145 people report being pricked, including some girls as young as 14. I want to bring in foreign correspondent Tom Soufi-Burridge for more. Tom, what's the latest here?
Yeah, Dan, so I think this is a very troubling phenomenon. What we don't know is anything really about the malign actors who were behind this. It appears to have been inspired or encouraged on social media. So it looks like there were social media posts before this annual nationwide music festival event. So effectively, Fête de la Musique, there are music festivals in towns and cities right across France. And prior to the event, there were posts, we think, on social media encouraging people or telling people to prick people attending that event. Now, we don't know anything about the malign actors behind this. Police are investigating, and they say that during those series of music festivals right across France on Saturday, 145 people were either pricked or believed they were pricked. So, you know, because of these social media posts, people picked up on these and then warned other social media users that this was being encouraged. So you had a climate of fear or concern prior to the event itself. And police are saying that they have arrested so far 14 people in connection with these attacks.
Tom, victims reported feeling hot flushes, dizziness, loss of consciousness, and visible marks or bruises on their skin. So are police saying what they think was was in those syringes?
They haven't yet, and at the moment, I don't think there's any indication whether or not any of the victims were actually injected with any type of substance. I mean, look, we know from one of the mayors of a city where there were 17 young victims, 17 young female victims, that the victims were as young as 14, aged through to 20. One particularly concerning thing I think that mayor said for me was that some of the victims were actually attacked in the presence of their parents, and we know that from police that most of the attackers were either pricked in their arm or in their back. They had various symptoms as you've laid out, and most of those people either were treated at the scene by first responders or then reported to hospital to give urine, saliva or blood samples to try and work out whether they were pricked or not. But I think, you know, this phenomenon, it doesn't appear, I think, that physically many of the victims were badly hurt or damaged in this attack. That seems to be the indication at this stage. But what this attack, inspired by just a few messages, we think, on social media, has done is sow panic. So I think, like, French authorities right now are urging calm. They're saying we shouldn't panic, but people in future events should be vigilant and look out for this type of attack, seek medical advice, report it to the police as soon as they see it.
And Tom, any sense of a motive here? Why do this?
Yeah, why do this?
Have any motive at all. And I think that is, you know, this attack is symptomatic of the digital age, right? Social media. People or actors, malign actors, can go on social media now and encourage this type of attack. Now, there is nothing to suggest who is behind this attack, but we know that malign actors have been working to destabilize European countries in the past. No indication at the moment who could have been behind this, but I think it is deeply worrying for the authorities in this kind of digital social media age that we live in.
All right, foreign correspondent Tom Sufi-Burridge, thank you.
Don't be a prick. Currently, one of the biggest music festivals in the world is going on in jolly old Great Britain. Well, it might have just wrapped up, actually. It's getting late. It might have wrapped up. You guys will enjoy this. We're going to be watching some of the best performances from Glastonbury tomorrow night on Live Music Monday. One of the bands you're not going to see, however, is a band by the name of Kneecap. And there's a reason why you're not going to be seeing them. Apparently, this caused kind of an uproar. They were trying to stop Kneecap from playing. This Bob Vylan guy. I don't know if he's associated with the band or not. This caused a hell of an uproar. Let's go to Sky News.
News tonight. Police are investigating comments made by performers Bob Vylan and Kneecap at Glastonbury. The rap punk duo Bob Vylan led crowds at the festival's West Holt stage in chants of Free, Free Palestine and Death, Death to the IDF, before Irish rap trio Kneecap suggested fans start a riot outside one member of the band's upcoming court appearance. Well, Emma Birchley has this story for us and joins us from the newsroom. Emma, what more can you tell us?
Yes, police this evening are assessing videos of what was seen on the West Holts stage at Glastonbury. Two acts who are both being looked at. The first of those, Bob Vylan, that is a rap punk duo with those chants of Free, Free Palestine and Death, Death to the IDF. So they are being looked at, but also
I like that. That's catchy.
Trio Kneecap.
Death, Death to the IDF.
Advance of the festival for them to be left off the lineup, and during their set at the festival today, they called for fans to riot at an upcoming hearing of one of their members who faces a...
Yeah, isn't that wild how that works, DJ Dub?
At the videos there to determine...
Not high enough for this shit.
...has been committed. Now, the BBC has responded to what was shown on the television.
Duff to the IDF. I'm sorry. I sounded like I'm like a special needs child or something.
On screen, they said
I tried to do a British
about what they called very strong
I'm sorry.
And they made it very clear that they
cancel
would
Justin.
Be putting that show, that element of the festival up on iPlayer for other people to watch. Now, there has been a very swift response across the board.
If you ever hear any lies or false commentary, you're welcome to correct me.
Made by Bob Villan at Glastonbury.
I have been correct. I will issue apologies for things I say wrong. If I get something wrong, I try my best to come on like I'm like, oh, I need to, look that up and see if I was actually correct when I said that. And then I'll try to do that at the beginning of the show.
Described to
I am a stoner, I forget.
Leader Kemi Badenoch as grotesque.
But like the chat totally keeps me honest about things. They've corrected me multiple times. Please correct me.
The Israeli embassy. This is what they've had to say in a statement. The embassy of Israel in the United Kingdom is
fuck the embassy of Israel.
Inflammatory and hateful rhetoric.
Who gives a shit what they think?
Glastonbury Festival, when such messages are delivered before tens of thousands of festival goers and met with applause, it raises serious concerns about the normalisation of extremist language and the glorification of violence.
Extremist language.
The Glastonbury Festival.
Standing up against genocide is somehow extremist language.
Wrong reasons.
Like the is it gay thing. Fellas, is it extremist language to stand up against genocide? Bob Villan, Kneecap, not the only musicians in some hot water, apparently. Beyonce criticized for her shirt calling Native Americans the enemies of peace. Ooh. Femfox, welcome in. She wore the shirt during a Juneteenth performance on her Cowboy Carter tour. A t-shirt worn by Beyonce during a Juneteenth performance on her Cowboy Carter tour has sparked a discussion over how Americans frame their history and caused a wave of criticism for the Houston-born superstar. The t-shirt, worn during a concert in Paris, featured images of the Buffalo Soldiers who belonged to the black U.S. Army units active during the late 1800s and early 1900s. On the back was a lengthy description of the soldiers that included their antagonists were the enemies of peace, order, and settlement. Ooh. Warring Indians, bandits, cattle thieves, murderous gunmen, bootleggers, trespassers, and Mexican revolutionaries. Oh! Ooh! Images of the shirt and videos of the performance are also featured on Beyonce's website. As she prepares to return to the United States for performances in her hometown this weekend, fans and indigenous influencers took to social media to criticize Beyonce for wearing a shirt that features Native Americans and Mexican revolutionaries as anything but the victims of American imperialism and for promoting anti-indigenous language. Spokesperson for Beyonce did not respond to a request for comment. The Buffalo Soldiers served in 6 military units created after the Civil War. They were comprised of formerly enslaved men, free men, and black Civil War soldiers and fought in hundreds of conflicts, including the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, until they were disbanded in 1951. As the quote on Beyonce's shirt notes, they also fought numerous battles against indigenous people as part of the U.S. Army's campaign of violence and land theft during the country's westward expansion. Some historians say the moniker Buffalo Soldiers was bestowed by the tribes who admitted the bravery and tenacity of the fighters, but that might be more legend than fact. At the end of the day, we really don't have that kind of information, said Kel Carter. Don't ever listen to any motherfucker named Kel. Director of the... I have nothing against this Kel guy. I'm sorry. Just the fact that his name is Kel, though. The director of exhibitions at the Buffalo Soldiers National Museum in Houston. I mean, he's got no reason to lie to me, right? It was C-A-L-E. Kel. You wouldn't say Calais or something, would you? That's not how you would pronounce it. It would be Kel, right? Am I wrong on that? But also not kale as in, the garnish you get at the Pizza Hut salad bar. God, I'm aging myself, aren't I? That's not a thing anymore. Smokey, what are you doing? That's not the only bullshit that Beyonce has gotten herself into. She got herself in a little trouble during her concert in Houston. Avalon, welcome in.
New at 11, frightening moments for superstar Beyonce at her concert in Houston tonight. Something malfunctioned.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, Igloo. Thank you very much. I will prove it to you. I'm not talking shit about kale. I was talking shit about Kel Carter, the director of exhibitions at the Buffalo Soldiers National Museum in Houston. Was not talking shit about Kel. I assume if you guys can give me an alternate pronunciation, but I'm pretty sure that is Kel. Sorry, I had to cut Beyonce off there. So she got into trouble. She was criticized for her shirt that referred to natives as like bloodthirsty enemies of peace. And then the gods did this to her, put a little scare in her.
16 carriages driving away.
New at 11, frightening moments for superstar Beyonce at her concert in Houston tonight. Something malfunctioned as she rode in a red Cadillac suspended in the air while performing her song 16 Carriages. It started to lean and appeared to get stuck. Beyonce could be heard calmly repeating the word, stop. The car was eventually brought down. Beyonce then took the stage, thanking her fans for their patience, saying, quote, if ever I fall, I know y'all will catch me. She improvised the rest of the song to thunderous applause and went on to finish the show. That is freaky.
Yeah, that's a serious tilt to that car.
Yeah.
Not so.
16 carriages driving away.
New at 11, frightening.
I'm gonna have my ass up in the air.
At her concert in Houston tonight. Something malfunctioned as she rode in a red Cadillac suspended in the air while performing her song 16 Carriages. It started to lean and appeared.
I've got no problem with Kale. I was not talking shit about Kale.
The word, stop. The car was eventually brought down. Beyonce then took the stage, thanking her fans for their patience, saying, quote, if ever I fall, I know y'all will catch me. She improvised the rest of the song to thunderous applause and went on to finish the
Joey, it doesn't look real.
Yeah. Her concert in Houston tonight.
I don't know. I mean, it looks kind of real there.
A red Cadillac suspended in the air while performing her song 16 Carriages. It started to lean and appeared to get stuck.
Well made, I guess.
Heard calmly repeating the word, stop. The car was eventually brought down. Beyonce then took the stage, thanking her fans for their patience, saying, quote, if
we watched Beyonce on Live Music Monday.
She improvised the
there it looks fake.
Thunderous applause and
looked good on all the other shots though. So
that's a serious
well done. Well done. I don't think we have, oh shit. I don't think we have an update on our we do have an update. Deceased male found on Canfield Mountain, shelter-in-place order lifted by Kootenai County Sheriff. The shelter-in-place order was lifted after the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office said a man was found dead on the mountain with a firearm nearby. This was probably the suspect. Multiple law enforcement agencies are responding to a shooting incident in Coeur d'Alene on Sunday afternoon. This is in Idaho, up in the Panhandle part. So, man set a fire, apparently lured first responders, Coeur d'Alene. Lured first responders and then shot at him. 2 firefighters died. We do apparently have a man that I guess they believe to be the suspect. They said they found him dead, but I feel like if the cops had shot him, the cops would say that they shot him. But I don't know. We'll get an update on that tomorrow. Gonna hit you with your animal video for the night. If you're new here, we always end it with an animal video. Usually it's a cuddly animal video. Going something a little different tonight. I try to switch it up because, you know, we should show love for all animals. Not just the cuddly ones. I'm partial to the cuddly ones with the fur. Here's an elephant inside a grocery store. Dude's just hungry. Oh, you know what? I do have Pride Parade. Let's watch a little bit of the Pride Parade. It's the last day of Pride. We got the Pride Parade from Minneapolis. I've got it right here. Well, I thought I had it right here. God damn it, you're right. We got to do... I'm going to stick around. I'm going to say goodbye. Everyone on YouTube, Kick, podcast. Yes, Holiday, I'll hook you up. You want the link of the car? Is that what you wanted? Yes, I'll hook you up. I totally got you. Twitch people, stick with me. We're gonna watch some Pride Parade. I'm gonna put on my Pride playlist because it's the last day. Let's make it happen. Podcast people, Kick, YouTube, go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live.